into business. I got my wild cherry Diet Pepsi, and I got my blackjack gum here, and I got that feeling. Yeah, that familiar feeling that something rank is going down out there.
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you, I make you laugh, I'm here to fucking amuse you. How the fuck am I funny? What the fuck is so funny about me? Tell me what's funny.
Oh, me, sir, God damn it! Brothers don't shake hands. Brothers gotta hug.
Come out to the coast, we'll get together, have a few laughs.
Oh, you!
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
You ever seen a grown man naked?
I'm so racist! Anybody move, I'll blow your fucking head off.
And the medic gets out and says, "Oh my God."
I'm your huckleberry.
My advice to you is to start drinking heavily.
Put that coffee down.
Pauline, this calls for the old Billy Baroo.
That's a huge bitch!
The royal penis is clean, Your Highness.
Hey, where are the white women at?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. It's over, Johnny. It's over!
All right. It is over, Johnny. That's right, the song is over. THT movie review, once again, 11 o'clock Eastern on a Friday night. What's this, 4 weeks in a row, Anthony?
Yep, I think we have finally set in stone an official day and start time. Fridays at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Central Time.
There you go.
Only on THT. Mixler.com/THT podcast.
Goddamn. Good shit.
Yes.
Good shit. And tonight, I guess we're talking one of the most,
influential. Timeless.
Okay, I'll go timeless. I watched this movie just yesterday, and I loved every minute of it. There are
Fast Times at Ridgemont High, 1982.
That's right.
Right up your alley.
Right up my alley. We've got, just to name some of the really, popular people in this movie, you got Sean Penn. Jennifer Jason Leigh did a bunch of movies in the 80s. She kind of played the same character in all her movies, the same thing. So, you still got me, Anthony?
Oh, yeah.
All right. I've got something going on with my video here. All right. Judge Reinhold, who, anyone who's ever seen Beverly Hills Cop, there you go. Let's see, Phoebe Cates,
young Nicolas Cage, Forrest Whitaker.
Now, this is his one and only movie. Nicolas Cage was billed as Nicholas Coppola. Yes, the one and only movie he was billed as the Nicholas Coppola. And yeah, Forrest Whitaker has a little part in this movie. Now, funny thing is, James Russo.
Free lazy eye, Forrest Whitaker, I wanted to point out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it says right here, Nicolas Cage, Brad's bud as Nicholas Coppola. He's in a few little parts in the movie. The main part people mention, obviously, is the part where Nicolas Cage is staring at the camera right at the fast food restaurant. But James Russo is another guy some people may know, again, from Beverly Hills Cop. He was, in that movie. And he was in a few movies also that I know him from. That's pretty much a lot of them. Go ahead, Anthony.
Stoltz. Eric Stoltz was in it. I don't know if you should know who that is, right, Box?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot. This was an amazing fucking movie. Just like we said, another coming to age movie. Now, I'll be, I'm 7 years old when this movie comes out, 1982. I don't think I actually got to watch this movie till I was like 12, and my sister's friends kind of snuck it on TV, and I kind of hung out in the back. The quieter, out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. So this was one of the first, this was kind of a titty movie.
Yeah.
Sort of.
But the funny thing about, I don't know, man. The funny thing about, now by today's standards, a movie like this is very tame compared to what we've seen over the last 25, 30 years. Fast Times at Ridgemont High ain't got shit on what we've seen over the past 20 years. Wouldn't you say?
A few scenes in here.
In terms of overall content.
If this movie was redone, it would have to have a few scenes taken out. Definitely. I mean, my God, he says the word fag.
Oh.
Yeah, Sean Penn, he says it.
Oh yeah, the PC.
Oh yeah. That would not fucking fly. I mean, I play it all the time. That's one of the...
Oh, come on. You really think the gay community would have a problem with the word fag being uttered on film?
Yeah.
The gay community? Oops.
Yep. I mean, I play.
No, fag. It's not an offensive term.
No, but I mean,
fun athletic guys. No. That's what we're talking about. Not fags.
I play that all the time. Here it is. Hold on, it'll come out in a second. Come on.
Oh, those guys are fags.
There you go. All the time. That would have to be cut. Yes. Couldn't do that nowadays.
Shout out to the gay community.
Yeah.
Your people too.
I don't know if they would allow. Now you got to remember, they wouldn't allow the. All right, let's just go ahead and get into the movie a little bit, because there's another scene I can think of that wouldn't be allowed, but we won't. That'll kind of spoil a little more of it. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now, before we even do that, I want to get in now. B-Megs in the chat was kind of saying, he's a little indifferent on this movie. He made a comment before the show in the chat room that, by the way, chat room's at mixer.com/THT podcast. He made a comment that, it kind of depends on the area you're from, when you were born, when you saw the movie. Definitely. Most definitely. Some of the references in this movie you may not get if you're, not of age. Some people just won't like this movie. It's just some people don't like these high school coming of age kind of movies. I personally love these movies. So, definitely the area you grew up in when you were born, when you saw it. Like I said, I was 12 years old. This was like the first movie that I saw actual boobs in. Seriously. This was the first movie I saw boobs. Wow. And, yeah, it was. Yeah. But, just a regular high school movie. You got your seniors. Judge Reinhold is your senior and ready to rule the school, to steal a line from Grease there. And, he kind of goes in there and, does his thing. The movie's based around Judge Reinhold. Obviously, his sister in the movie is Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Yes. Of a single white female fame. That might be her most notable role that people might remember her from.
She was also in Easy Money with Rodney Dangerfield.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. She actually did a lot in those late 80s mid to late 80s movies.
Yeah, like I said, this movie really kind of, if this movie were use a wrestling term here, if it were a developmental territory, it produced a lot of stars.
Yeah.
In terms of, generally speaking, a lot of these teen movies that have come out since basically don't really produce superstars. They kind of they're known for, they kind of get pigeonholed as those characters. Mm-hmm. like a few weeks ago, we did the Judd Nelson episode. Right. Everybody knows him as John Bender and not much else. Maybe New Jack City. But for the most part, he kind of got, pigeonholed as John Bender.
He did.
Leather jacket, bad. I mean, he was a badass in the movie, but he's kind of like, he was always like, whenever you look at him, it's like, oh, I can only see John Bender.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Now, there is a very underrated character in this movie played by Robert Romanus. Mike Damone in this movie. This character should have gone to do more. This guy should have got a TV show as that character. You know?
You think it could have been a sustainable series?
Oh, dude.
At least like a 5-year run, maybe?
There are so many parts. There's a couple I do want to play from him because it's just makes the fucking movie. And of course they've got a couple loony teachers. Mr. Hand, who's played by Ray Walston, who, come on, everyone should know who he is. He's been in a bunch of different movies. I believe he was in Grumpy Old Men. So he's crazy. And the other teacher is Vincent Schiavelli. You'll see Mr. Vargas. He was in a ton of quick roles between the 80s and 90s.
Yes.
I believe he was even in an episode or two of Brady Bunch or something. I don't know. I mean, but they got a couple weird teachers, but I don't know. To me, this
just to show you, I mean to cut you off, Box, but just to show you how big this movie is, even though she didn't do anything of note really afterwards, the fucking baby sister of the boss himself, Pamela Springsteen, was in this movie.
Really? I didn't know that.
Pamela, she was remember what's the character? What was her name? Dina Phillips. Remember that character? That's Bruce Springsteen's baby sister.
I do remember that. Yeah. I only remember the name Dina because I had an ex-girlfriend named Dina in high school. All through high school, pretty much.
And I'm going through the IMDb here. It's hilarious to me how Nicolas Cage in the movie, his character is billed as Brad's bud.
Yep. Well, that's all he is.
That's hilarious to me for some reason.
I mean, that's all he is. Every now and then you just see Judge Reinhold talking to him. And it's just a little conversation here and there. Yeah. But, like I said, there's that one scene where they show him. But, and another part right in the beginning of the movie that I play, another one of our famous things.
You dick!
That is Spicoli right there doing that. So, we do play a lot of stuff from this movie, actually. I think I might have even more. I got a bunch of drops here that we can go ahead and play out a little bit later. We can go through a few of them. But, this is just, another one of the teen comedies. I'm not 100%, but this might have been the start of a lot of the teen comedies out there.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the, like I said, I'm not sure of, like, the timeline. But the Fast Times at Ridgemont High is definitely like the grandfather of like modern movies from more my era, like the American Pie series. Certainly, still, in terms, you brought up the phrase "titty movie." American Pie brought titty movies back in the 90s.
Right.
And that was basically like, if this is the grandfather, movies like American Pie, like Can Hardly Wait, movies like that, that kind of ilk, were basically born out of Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Definitely. And like I had said at the beginning, this movie sort of bases itself around Jennifer Jason Leigh. She's 15 years old. She's a sophomore. She's a virgin.
You mean she wasn't really 19?
No, well... Are you sure you're 19? Yeah, I'm 19. Yeah.
And that shows you how much times have changed.
Okay.
Nowadays, like, think about it. If you heard that line today, people would be like, oh, that's statutory rape.
See, that's another part they would never let go in this movie. He's 26. We know she's 15. They would never let that part go in a remake of that movie in 2016. No way.
Maybe they would give it like the infamous NC-17 rating. Nah. Remember those movies, Fox?
Please, now people would have so many problems with it. It was just, I don't know. It was just, she went after him, and back then it just wasn't. I don't know, man. But yeah, 26. She was 15, and she bangs him in a baseball dugout.
Yeah. Yes.
Another great scene though, where she's practicing giving blowjobs with a carrot, and all the guys catch Jennifer Jason and Phoebe Cates. By the way, Phoebe Cates, as of today, still looks about that hot. Honestly.
So she's obviously she's past the point of being a MILF. Ugh, but would you still consider her bangable,
bro?
Boxman,
bro. Type in. Trust me, if you went to Google and typed in Phoebe Cates 2016, you would say yes too.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And we'll get to, as we kind of go through the movie here, we'll get to her infamous or her famous scene in this movie. But yeah.
Yes.
I mean to this day, that's a scene that people still talk about.
That's one hell of a scene. Yeah, it is. We will get to it. Now, here's cool. I'm at one of the parts I actually want to play. Again, Mike Damone, one of the best characters in this movie. Mike Damone basically is...
He's like, honestly, once again, I know this isn't the wrestling show, but he kind of reminds me of like a cooler, younger version of Alberto Del Rio. Because he kind of has he has the accent. He kind of gives advice,
He gives the advice. Yeah, you don't care if she lays, stays, or here you go. Wait a minute. Hold on here. I've got the part right here. Here.
Did you get a name?
Hold on. We'll get to it now.
I mean, a girl decides how far she's going to let you go in the first 5 minutes.
Well, what am I supposed to do? Go up to this strange girl in my biology class and say, "Hello, I'd like you to take your clothes off and jump on me"?
I would. I mean, I can see it all now. This is going to be just like last summer. You fell in love with that.
This is part of the attitude thing right here, and this is one of the greatest. This is one of the best scenes in the movie to me.
Tell me, Mike. What should I do?
This is what
you ready?
Do.
Yep.
Start from the minute you walk into biology, Raz. I mean, don't just walk in. You move across the room. And you don't talk to her. You use your face. You use your body. Use everything. That's what I do. I mean, I just send out this vibe, and I have personally found that women do respond. I mean, something happens.
Well, naturally something happens. I mean, you put the vibe out to 30 million chicks, something is going to happen.
That's the idea, right?
Yes. Give yourself options.
Yeah, the attitude dictates that you don't care whether she comes, stays, lays, or prays. I mean, whatever happens, your toes are still tapping. And when you got that, then you have the attitude.
There you go. How can you... Come on. Great advice from a great man. Like I said, that is one of the most underrated fucking character, man.
And by the way, movie or no movie, that advice still applies over 30 years later, folks.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Those are still words to live by.
And he even has another scene in this movie that I'm definitely going to fucking play with, is the attitude scene where they're in the mall. Actually, right now, I'm to the part where Jennifer Jason Leigh is getting banged in a dugout right now.
Oh, Pox, before you get to that part, going off of what I just said about that character, I want to bring up some interesting information that I found in my research for this show this week. Okay. A little over 10 years ago, back in 2005, this film that we're reviewing tonight, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, was selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry by the Library of Congress as being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. So to me, that says it all.
Wow.
When a movie is, this means that the fucking highest level of film preservation in this country decided that this movie needs to be seen and preserved for future generations. That really kind of says a lot about the significance of this movie, because we should have mentioned this at the top, but this movie is actually is based on a screenplay by Cameron Crowe, who also wrote a book called Fast Times at Ridgemont High: A True Story by Cameron Crowe. because he actually went undercover. Yeah, I don't know what inspired him to do it, but he went undercover at a high school and basically detailed his experiences. So a lot of this shit, you know, was happening in real time.
I wonder if he was
hopefully no 15-year-olds were harmed during the making.
Maybe he was the 26-year-old banging the film.
Oh yeah.
Oh, shit.
Allegedly. Should we throw in an allegedly because we don't want to get sued in case Cameron Crowe or his family ever hears this?
Statute of limitations are gone. Who gives a shit at this point?
You know who else said that?
Who?
Lawler. Jerry Lawler said that many times.
Yeah. Who gives a shit? You gonna drink that beer and smoke that joint? Yeah, but we ain't gonna fuck no 14-year-olds.
Oh shit.
All right. Anyway, and you know, Weebs put his little usual info in the chat here. Budget movie was $4.5 million. Box office was $27.1 million. Now, that's just gross. I mean, rentals just in the United States, they did $16 million. You know, it was ridiculous. This movie probably still is being bought today. I wouldn't doubt it. This is one that I actually own on DVD. So
yeah, actually, and myself, you know, I mentioned to you off air a couple days ago. I actually got it for like $5 a couple weeks ago. That's a movie because it's just certain movies you need to have in a collection. I know we live in an age where everybody wants to stream everything and download this, download that, but sometimes you just want to have that physical copy of something just so you can watch it at your leisure and not have to worry about jump edits and torrents and all of that other kind of jazz.
Yeah. Now here's the other scene. Let me see here.
What do you mean? Hey, men have died trying.
Hold on.
This valuable
This is the
information.
5-point plan.
But I'll give it to you for free.
Okay, what's your 5-point plan?
All right. Now pay attention. First of all, Rat, you never let on how much you like a girl. Oh, Debbie. Hi.
Just so you know who he's talking to a cardboard cutout of Debbie Harry, for those who don't know, lead singer of Blondie.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, she was gorgeous back then. Anyway.
2, you always call the shots. Kiss me. You won't regret it. Now 3, act like wherever you are, that's the place to be. Isn't this great? 4, when ordering food, you find out what she wants, then order for the both of you. It's a classy move. Now, the lady will have the linguine and white clam sauce and a Coke with no ice. And 5, now this is most important, Rat. When it comes down to making out, whenever possible, put on side 1 of Led Zeppelin 4.
There you go. Now, number 3 is the best. Rule number 3, I think, is the best. Just act like wherever you are, that's the place to be.
And the funny thing is, I can't tell you over the years, whether it's in real time or just from watching different things, movies, TV shows, I've heard different variants of that statement.
Oh, yeah. And
make wherever you are the place to be.
Oh, yeah.
And
Just act like wherever you are, that's the place to be. Okay,
Yep.
B-Megs just found out yesterday Blondie was a band, not a person.
Yeah, folks. If you're under I'm Box is a few years older than me, so if you're younger than me, you probably won't get a lot of the references from a lot of these older flicks.
Yeah, let's see. Weaves is starting to post some stuff here. I can go ahead and play that one he just put.
Oh, real quick, I guess Box. Well, not so much for me, but I guess for yourself. Make sure you edit or do a little spot check of what Weez posts in the chat.
Oh, I'm reading them first
now. We don't want to
now.
repeat it last week.
Well, this should be a safe movie. I don't think there's besides Forrest Whitaker, I think there's no other.
Oh, you never know. Weez might sneak some shit in on since he knows you get flustered on air. You might sneak some shit in now.
I don't think I got flustered one, but I thought I handled that with elegance and class and seamless too. Thank God for Curtis taking over and reading the last.
That was hilarious. I mean, yeah. Kurt's a good dude. I was just seeing how good of friends we were. That's why I was like, because you was reading it just as smooth, and when you got to that last one, I'm like, let me lay out it for a minute, see what Boxman do.
The only other choice,
paragraphs like nothing.
The only other choice I had was to just say, and that was the only other choice I had.
And even Weaves in the chat, no N-bombs.
Yeah, that my only other choice was to hit the censor beep, and that just would have been weird. So.
Yeah, and especially with apparently YouTube's new laws, they might have censored it for you.
You know what, dude? If they shut us down, they shut us down. If you're offended by anything on this show, please just don't subscribe.
Yeah. In other words, suck my left dick.
Right? Yeah.
Will that make YouTube?
I know. Our fucking theme song for the show is goddamn fucking offensive.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, let's see. I'm at the scene in the movie where Mark Ratner, the little nerd of the bunch in the movie, you always got to have the nerd, the fucking, the real cool guy, and the stoner, of course, John Penn in this movie. And Mark Ratner's in love with Jennifer Jason Leigh's character in this movie. And, they finally go out to dinner. He forgets his wallet. And she kind of meets Mike. And she kind of looks at Mike like she wants the D.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And honestly, you put them vibes out there. Just lay back and just, reel that fish in.
Yeah.
Reel that fish in, boy.
That's it. Hey, you put the vibe out to 30,000 chicks. Something's bound to happen.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, you talk about putting a vibe out. Isn't it amazing that I find it so amazing when it comes to females in general? It's a little bit of a tangent, but it ties into the scene we're on here. Isn't it amazing how the less of a fuck you give, the more successful you are?
It does happen that way.
It's like, seriously. It's like, you put yourself out there, nice guy, fuck that. That shit is for the birds. Mm-hmm. But the minute you act aloof and kind of like just say, you know what, fuck it. I don't give a fuck what you think about me. It is what it is. I'm not here for a long time. I'm just here for a good time. It's like, wow.
Yep. She becomes suddenly and then she becomes clingy.
You become a pussy magnet.
Yeah, exactly. Then they become clingy, which isn't always a problem. So, yeah. And, this scene ties into the movie a little. Obviously, it ties into the movie, but this scene really kind of puts the movie together, kind of ties a bow on it of how much of a geek this guy, Mark Ratner, really is. She's basically throwing it at him. She's in a robe, literally, in her bra and panties, trying to get him to do anything with her, and he won't. This guy's just too scared. Poor little guy. He's too scared. But again, coming of age, one of those high school movies where, all you're doing is thinking about it, and then finally you get it, and you're like, oh, what do I do?
He underperformed. I think Meltzer would give him like a 2 out of 5.
Oh yeah. This definitely wouldn't be on Meltzer's scale, but no. This wouldn't even be a 4 out of 10 to Bret Hart. Bret Hart wouldn't even. He'd go 2 out of 10. So yeah, but it's just one of those like we've said before 1,000 times already. One of those coming to age movies that just puts everything together. Now another great part in this movie, right after that scene, is where Spicoli and Forrest Whitaker, his little brother, they're in a car driving like maniacs. They're both smoking a joint. Spicoli is baked out of his mind, drinking beer, pushing cars off the road, going in between cars on 2-lane roads, going on the other side of the road, and finally they wreck the car. Now, I bring this up because this is another excellent fucking quote in this movie.
Cue it up.
I'm getting to it right now. Actually, the car just crashed. So, I can play it from here. What the hell?
My brother's gonna kill us. He's gonna kill us. He's gonna kill you and he's gonna kill me. He's gonna kill us. Hey, man, just be glad I had fast reflexes. My brother's gonna shit. Make up your mind, dude. Is he gonna shit or is he gonna kill us? First he's gonna shit, then he's gonna kill us.
Give me a second.
Yes.
First he's gonna shit, then he's gonna kill us.
And let me ask you something.
Okay, go ahead real quick.
I don't know, but this is a little more my era, Box. But did you ever watch that 70s show?
I did.
Now, since we're talking about Fast Times at Ridgemont High, do you think, Ashton Kutcher's character from the show, Michael Kelso, was kind of patterned somewhat after Spicoli?
Never thought of it like that, but you know what? I'll bet.
Like certain, I mean, obviously they couldn't push the envelope that much on a show that was on analog television.
Right.
But I like when looking back, I never really put two and two together. But I'm like, I see a little Spicoli in Ashton, like a PG version.
Yeah.
Of what Spicoli was doing back in the day.
Yeah, I'm sure, man. I guarantee that's where some of that came from. So, all right, let's get this going here. Finish this up real quick.
Relax. All right? My old man is a television repairman. Got this ultimate set of tools. I can fix it.
Yes.
I can fix it.
I can fix it. Now, do they fix it? How do they fix it? How can they fix a wrecked Trans Am? Well, luckily there's a football game the next day against their rival Assassins Lincoln. So
yeah, and Forrest Whitaker, he was doing some hot spots in that fucking game.
Oh, dude, yeah, that was great.
We can't. I can't let you go past that scene. We can't gloss over that.
Oh, we won't.
One.
It's coming up in a minute.
Fucking boss was Whitaker in this scene.
Yeah, dude, Forrest Whitaker. He does.
That's a bad. I don't give a fuck. I made the crack earlier about the lazy eye, but Forrest Whitaker, all jokes aside, is a damn good actor, and he was a man in this fucking movie. He didn't say a whole lot, but when he was on camera, you got a vibe that he was going to do some big things. He had a certain presence.
I mean, think about some of the fucking movies he's done. I mean, since this, I mean, Jesus Christ, oh my God, if I pull him up, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, did you ever see Bird?
Mm-hmm. Yep, he was in that.
Pressing fucking movie, but a good movie.
He was in The Color of Money. He had a part in that where he hustled Paul Newman. He was in The Crying Game.
Oh, The Crying. We might have The Crying Game.
Do not even say what I think you're about to say. We got to do that one. No, we don't need to do that one.
Boy, come on, it's not that bad. I mean, just because they call it The Crying Game, don't mean it was that bad. You won't cry by the end of it. I promise.
Yeah, right. Yeah, sure. He did Phone Booth. I actually liked.
Oh, yeah, look, I don't give a fuck. I mean, it's one of those. That's one of those movies that don't get talked about a lot, but that was pretty underrated.
I like that movie,
and I like it was a different concept.
Yeah, I like that movie. I really do. Now he did a Criminal Minds. He did one of the Criminal Minds shows.
See, I'm not really. You would actually have to fill me in on that one because I never really was a Criminal Minds guy.
Well, he did. I mean, he did. He did Phenomenon with John Travolta.
Thank you, B Megs in the chat. Crying Game was a good movie. You're right, sir.
If you say so. Witness Protection TV movie. That was actually a good TV movie. I remember seeing that. Panic Room I liked. And I thought Phone Booth was really a good movie. That movie probably cost them nothing to make, and it didn't do that great, but come on. Who gives a fuck, really? He was in The Shield for a while.
Yeah.
Which I loved that show. He was more the end. He was in the end of that show.
Oh, fuck. How the fuck can we miss this one? He was in Platoon.
He was
Good
in
Morning
Platoon.
Vietnam.
Yeah, Good Morning. I was just watching Good Morning Vietnam today.
Wow.
Yep. He was in a Criminal Minds Suspect Behavior. It went one season. I'm not sure why it only went one season, but I enjoyed the show. Really, I'm you know me. I love my cop shows. I'm a fucking cop show mark.
I hear you.
So what are you gonna do?
He was in another movie I like. He was in Stakeout. Remember that one?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. We're slowly coming up to the pool scene here.
Yes, the pool scene.
The pool scene.
Yeah, it's like, you know, some things, it's like, this is where I wish we kind of had like video where we can like share this with the people, because it's certain things that verbally you really can't, you know, seeing it does more than anything we could actually say about it now. Right. Seeing it kind of like tells the story more than we could like, you know, describe it.
Oh yeah, especially this.
It's like no words can't do that. The pool scene justice.
Now, we'll go ahead and I'll play a little music from the scene and stuff like that when we get to it. But I do want to give one small fact about the scene, and we'll go ahead and tell you the scene. It's when Judge Reinhold comes home. He sees Phoebe Cates' character in this movie, who is Linda Barrett, and kind of gets a little horned up, goes into the bathroom, and starts jerking it. Little trivia. For this masturbation scene, Judge Reinhold brought a large dildo to work without telling the rest of the cast. The look on Phoebe Cates' face is real. She did not know there was going to be a giant dildo in that scene. So, and the scene we're talking about basically is he's having a dream about Phoebe Cates coming out of the water topless and just, you know, starting to make out with them. What a great scene. Like I said, she is gorgeous. For a lot of people, this was like one of the rewind scenes, if you know what I mean.
Box, we need to start reaching out, you know, to some of these old time people. Like, you know, like I said, nowadays being, you know, I think somebody posted in the chat, it might have been Weebs. I think she's 53 now. Hey, we need to start reaching out. Hey, Phoebe, you know, these people aren't, you know, they're still stars to us. We look at them as stars, but, you know, they haven't really been in the spotlight.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we need to get a campaign going. Like, hey, come and talk.
Let's see here.
About these things.
Oh, yeah.
As I sneeze. And no, seriously, like, relive some old times. And, hey, let's see what happens.
I would love to get her on the show.
Yes, so Phoebe Cates, like anybody that's listening right now within the sound of my voice.
We get her on Skype.
With your support.
Bro,
we can tell her about the show.
We get her on Skype, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, video interviews or talk something like, hey.
Uh-oh.
Commentary.
You know how cute I always thought you
Here's the dream.
That's rock out.
Yeah. Oh, she's walking. She grabs the middle of the top right here. Boom!
Oh,
Phoebe Cates' boobies. And Judge Reinhold is jerking his dildo.
Yeah.
But that's pretty funny, man. Yeah, it says the look of horror and disgust is very real on Phoebe Cates' face.
Yes, but I mean, honestly, man, that's what. Honestly, you don't hear about that too much anymore. Where you have those guys that really kind of like appreciation for the art form. They go that extra mile for that believability.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, that's one of those. If that's true, you know, obviously it is.
Yeah.
But that's what made the scene.
Yep. Yeah, she walks in on him, and of course he says,
"Doesn't anybody fucking knock anymore?"
And now we're coming up, once again, we go to another scene now. This is where Mike Damone, of course, Mike Damone is kind of impressing little Stacy over there. You know, she's starting to put little things about how she, you know, misses Stacy Damone and, you know, stuff like that. So Stacy's getting hot. Basically, she turned into a little slut in this movie.
Yeah, hey, look. Shout out to the little sluts out there, because I'm just saying, like, hey, you need little sluts to kind of like keep your blood pressure down, and Make you feel like a man every now and then.
Oh my God, dude. Now, we forgot to mention one other person in this movie, another underrated guy who still does movies today. His name is Taylor Negron. Those of you who are like, who the hell is that guy? Go and watch The Last Boy Scout with Bruce Willis and Damon Wayans. He is the bad guy in that movie. I forget the name of his character, but he is one of the.
Oh yeah, I gotta look it up. Yeah.
Go ahead and look that up. He is the villain. Actually, I can look it up. I got his name right here. He's just a guy from California that is just, he's in a bunch of little parts in a bunch of little movies, but everyone knows who he is. He was also in Biodome, that I do know. And he's been in a bunch of little, like I said, just a few little movies. But he was in The Last Boy Scout as Milo. Milo was his name.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And I know he was in Biodome. He was Pauly Shore's mother's boyfriend or something like that. But, yeah, he did a bunch of those Pauly Shore movies in Surf School and Pauly Shore is Dead. And he's a friend of Pauly Shore's, obviously. He's my brother-in-law actually knows Taylor. He actually has his number in his phone, believe it or not. So but he's a cool.
Sadly, he passed away in 2015.
Yeah.
No, yeah, damn.
Oh, he did? Shit.
Yeah, Taylor. Brad Stephen Taylor Negron.
I did not know that.
August 1st, 57 to July 10th, 2015.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
Damn, and he was only 57 too. My gosh.
Yeah, but he was also in this part as just a pizza delivery guy who delivers a pizza to Mr. Hand's class. So, to of course, Spicoli.
Yeah.
So, but, right after that pizza scene, once again, there goes, Stacy banging away again. Now, another great line by Damone in this is the iced tea line.
I'm not gonna. Let's not spoil it. Let's let the people hear it.
I used to say this all the time. My friends would be like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "This is some great iced tea." All right, okay. It's coming up in a second. Hold on here. Here it comes. Come on.
This is great iced tea.
This is great iced tea. He hadn't even taken a sip yet. So, he ends up in the pool house banging her.
Yes.
Yep. You get more Jennifer Jason Leigh booby in this part. And bangs her. And a little while later, now he also is a quick worker in this part. He gets his shit in fast here. This whole part, where he's doing her lasts maybe 25 seconds.
25 seconds longer than CM Punk.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Here you go. Oh! There you go.
No, seriously. I mean, yeah.
Yep. Now, a little bit after that, Stacy finds out she is pregnant.
Ain't that some shit?
Yep. Look, real
You was only in there for, I'd be like, look, Doc, I was only in it for 30 seconds. Baby can't be mine.
Well,
I would honestly, that's that at that point in time, even if I gotta bury myself, I'd be like, Doc, it can't be mine. 30 seconds, I was in and out like a robbery. I was in and out.
Yeah, exactly.
It can't be mine.
Hit it and quit it and fucking run.
Yeah.
But, he kind of pretends to be this big ladies' man, and obviously, he's not. Day comes where, she asks, obviously, to get an abortion. This is a coming-of-age movie. A lot of these little situations have happened to people all over the place, in every little town, little city, big town, big city, somewhere, everywhere.
Yeah, and that's why, like I said, the movie, like in terms of like the lingo, the way they dress, way they talk, music, those things, those things don't necessarily. It's like one of those you had to be there type of moments. But the central theme, as I pointed out in the chat before we went live, is that's what kind of lives on. Like people, like whether it's Porky's, whether it's Fast Times, whether it's like American Pie, people can relate to the general themes that happen to these characters in the movie. Everybody goes to high school. Everybody hangs out with their buddies. Everybody tries to get laid.
I hope.
I mean, come on, that's what high school is: hanging out, getting fucked up, trying to get laid with your buddies on a Friday night. Who can't relate to that?
You know what? High school. I mean, this movie shows you, and what is look. High school is tough for everybody, not just you, not just me. Look, high school wasn't that. I mean, look, I had a lot of good times in high school, but there were a few that wasn't. I partied a lot, but I was always the little skinny kind of kid, so I also got messed with a lot. So but it happened.
Oh, wow. Weebs, thank you. He's dropping some more knowledge in the chat here. Let me see. In the DVD commentary, director Heckerling tells of how Cates was initially reluctant to carry out her character's poolside topless scene at the house in West Hills because she thought the neighbors might be spying on the set from the surrounding rooftops. Well, I'm here to tell you, Miss Cates, yes, I would have been one of those neighbors.
I'm here to tell you, fucking millions of people have seen those boobies. So don't worry about it.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, it's like, it is what it is. You're famous. You have, like, a pair of the most famous tits in America. Everybody has tits, but not everybody's tits are famous.
Here you go.
Message.
Yeah, here you go. Nicolas Cage actually taunted the rest of the cast by bragging about his uncle Francis Coppola. He told all the other young actors that he would be famous faster than any of them because he had the connections. After a few weeks of this, the cast started to strike back at Nicholas by doing imitations of Robert Duvall in Apocalypse Now, which finally got Cage to stop bragging about his famous family. Yeah. So,
Wow. Well, how much of a mind fuck is that? Nicolas Cage related to fucking Francis Ford Coppola.
Look, there's a lot of Coppolas out there that do not use that name.
Yeah. And look, to be fair, he changed his last name to the more famous and accepted Nicolas Cage, and he went on to have a fucking hell of a career for himself.
Yeah, exactly.
Not so much in recent times, but overall, Nicolas Cage is a good actor, and he'll be remembered.
Wow. Let's see. Mike Damone's nude scene with Stacy that was filmed and never used was stated by to show natural vulnerability by the two between young teenagers. The intent was to show each of them undressing, and then show them standing before each other fully naked, full frontal, vulnerable, and nervous. The scene was pulled due to an impending X rating and has never been released.
Now, think about this. This movie was released in 1982. Now, obviously, you still had the PC police around back then. But like you said, it's amazing to think that nowadays that scene got pulled for an X rating. Nowadays, I don't necessarily think the scene will be pulled, but it would be open to criticism. It would be pulled more or less because of the public outcry and the bitching and the moaning it would get on Facebook and Twitter and the fucking soccer moms. You're corrupting little Johnnies. Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly, man.
It would get pulled today, but for different reasons. Just because people are like too afraid of the fucking PC police.
Wow, I didn't know Jennifer Jason Leigh's father was Vic Morrow. old actor from the 70s, 80s. I mean, did tons of movies. Not TV movies, TV series. He was kind of a cameo actor.
Now, Box, this kind of just popped in my head. Now, you're a little older than me.
Thank you.
And this is like going to be a serious question here.
Okay.
You brought up the scene. You brought up, how this is a titty movie, and like nowadays, a lot of the scenes in this movie wouldn't fly today just for obvious reasons. Now you were born in the 70s. I was born like a decade and a half, maybe a decade. I won't give you the half.
Okay, I'm old.
Maybe
We get it. We get it. I'm old. Go ahead.
Maybe I'll give a decade. Like 4 or 5 years. No, but anyway, did you ever saw the movie Claudine? And I promise, folks, we're gonna get back to Fast Time. This ain't gonna be long.
I don't think I have.
But you know who Diane Carroll is, obviously, James Earl Jones. And I bring that up because this movie was rated PG.
Right.
And even in the 70s, it was still they were kind of like fast and loose with the ratings. So even if a movie was rated PG in the 70s, you still would get like nudity. You would still see tits. You would still see, maybe you wouldn't see like a dick or a badge or anything that. No. But where do you think like the shift came from? Because it's like in the 70s, you get a PG movie and you see tits. If you ever see that movie, you'll get what I'm talking about when I say that. But then it's like just a few short years later, because that came out in 74. Fast Times came out in 82. And that got an R rating, and you see tits all over the place. So at what point do you think that shift started to happen where everything became like so PC and tits are bad and this is bad and you can't say that? And at what point do you think that shift started to happen? Like, because you had, like, even in the 70s, even the television shows, whether it was All in the Family, The Jeffersons, Good Times, these were shows that were not afraid to go there. Black, white, whatever. It wasn't afraid to kind of lay it all out there, but it just seemed like by the time, like, the 80s hit, by the time Reagan got in office, shit just changed.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think? Where do you think that shift happened?
You really...
If you had to put like a finger on it.
If I had to put a finger on it, honestly, it started off a little bit in the 90s, but I think it really got a lot tighter, and I know everyone's going to be like, no, you're wrong, and that's fine, but I think it was Janet Jackson's Nipplegate in 2004 on the halftime show. I really think for some reason Janet Jackson showed a nipple and everybody lost their fucking mind.
Probably virgins, but continue.
Well, look, it even right here on Wiki, it says the increased regulation of broadcasting raised concerns regarding censorship and free speech in the United States. The FCC increased fines on the indecency violations from $27,500 to $325,000 shortly after the event.
Just to put this in perspective, so Janet Jackson's nipple, Janet Jackson's still fine. I don't give a fuck what nobody said.
Right.
But she still look fine. Mm-hmm. But so you're telling me, and I'm not talking to you, I'm just saying in general, her titty is bad, but almost 10 years earlier, Dennis Franz, I know you're a NYPD Blue guy, you can see his ass on ABC.
On NYPD Blue.
Yeah, well, his ass, full front. I mean, that's a fairly famous scene.
They never went full front. They always...
No, full front, but you saw, look, we saw more Dennis Franz than we need to see.
We saw Dennis, and we saw fucking David Caruso's ass in season 1, which, 10 episodes into season 1, we got to see his ass, which, again, we did not need to see. But, I mean, that was, again, time of night and what kind of show. You got to remember, this is the biggest game of the year for football, Yeah. But literally, I mean, this is what happened. Media went nuts. FCC started totally locking down. Now, remember, the FCC, and this was indecency. I remember, the next week, radio stations were starting to cut lyrics out of songs they had played before, classic rock songs that say, have a shit in there that are barely even noticeable because, classic rock, they're kind of... Yeah. So, it's just... But it really did affect... Here, I'm going to go to... Here. censorship and regulation of, I mean, that even right here, one of the headers under the, if you actually go to the Janet Jackson incident on Wiki, Super Bowl, whatever it was, halftime show, controversy, there's a thing that says aftermath and effects, censorship and regulation of broadcasting. It doesn't say just sports broadcasting, all broadcasting. Soap Opera Central speculated the fallout from this incident may have had a subtle effect on even daytime television, being as soap operas like As the World Turns and Guiding Light went as far. It even says that at the time they were using rear male nudity scenes.
Yeah,
and they weren't.
And it's like weird. Like, look, I'm not, I've never been a big soap opera guy. I mean, I've caught them in passing over the years, but even before the Janet Jackson, these anybody that's I guess is a homebody knows that these come on like in the afternoons, like 12, 1 o'clock, and they will get into some pretty salacious stuff in terms of like sex and this that at 12, 1 o'clock when theoretically a kid could be home.
Yep.
Theoretically, I mean, should be in school, but they might have an off day, snow day or something, and they were showing like some, not like I said, not nothing hardcore, but scenes that were borderline questionable. But like you said, once the Janet Jackson thing happened, it swiped a lot of shit out. Which, once again, look, all things considered, I might have kids one day. Box, you got kids presently. It's certain things that I agree that shouldn't be exposed to kids, but at the same time, where does it end?
I don't know.
Where does it end in terms of like censorship? And I think sometimes we go overboard in terms of, you can't say ass.
Oh yeah.
But you can show some. You can't say, or put it to you like this: you can't show a titty on over the air television, but you can show somebody getting their brains blown out.
Oh,
or simulated violence.
By the way, another thing to prove my point: Guiding Light edited out the nudity shortly after from an episode that had already been taped. A week later, they actually fired one of their producers, replaced it with another person. Clear Channel Communications, owner of many popular radio stations and affiliated with Super Bowl broadcaster CBS, censored or removed many songs from the radio following the event, including backlisting Janet Jackson from receiving airplay. Of course, they just, basically in wrestling terms, they were starving her out. Because at that time, you did get money for radio play. They began dropping or editing dozens of songs, including The Who's Who Are You? At one point, they do say the words, who the fuck are you? Lou Reed's Walk on the Wild Side. I believe he uses a shit in there. Pearl Jam's Jeremy. John Mellencamp's Jack and Diane. So, you know what? I hate to toot my own horn here, Jack, but toot, God damn it, I am right. Because they, again, raised the fine on these people. The FCC raised the fine from $27,500 to $500,000 per violation for them. So,
case in point, it may have took over 30 years, but the FCC, in my opinion, at least, finally successfully cut the balls off of Howard Stern. Like, I mean, to a point.
I remember listening. At that time, I was still a Howard Stern fan. I listened to Howard all the fucking time. He definitely talked about it, still pushed a little bit, but yeah, he did kind of clean it up a little bit, not do all the stuff he was doing. That's also when they started taking away these prank calls for these people. They weren't allowed to do prank calls. You could get in trouble for them, all this stuff. Yeah. But, goddamn, who knew Janet Jackson's titty actually did that?
Who knew titties were? I mean, look, to listen to some people, you would think titties were the worst of God's creation. I love titties. I love the areolas, but it's just, I don't know, man. It's just boobies. It's just a damn shame that we're at a point now where everything is over-regulated. That's why, it's an overused term, but the pussification of America is real. It is real, and that's kind of like why we're in the state we're in. You get on, people are oversensitive. You type one thing, blah blah blah. Like I said back in the Box, you came up like me, similar in terms of like, you know, you would bust balls with your friends, hey fag, hey this, hey that, and you don't mean any type of offense to it. But now, fucking like, if you say the word, if you call somebody a fag, you got to go through like 8 weeks of sensitivity training.
Yeah, you'll be on, you know, writing fucking, you know, apology letters to everybody, and you know, having to make recordings and Skype videos, and grow the fuck up.
Yeah, this Kirkpatrick, I mean, think about it. He didn't want to fucking stand up for the national anthem, and man, he's getting raked over the coals.
Right. And you know, B-Megs would like to ask us, do we think Mortal Kombat influenced not only video games, but all media? Yes. Especially when the newscasters were dressing up as Scorpion and Sub-Zero and fighting in the middle of the fucking streets. It was amazing.
You're right. Hey, for the record, Mortal Kombat, the original Mortal Kombat, the video
Loved
game,
it.
was the shit.
You put that in a fucking arcade, and I will fucking drop $20 in quarters in that game.
Oh yes, that game is still a shit. Oh, the fatalities too. Oh yeah, remember those?
That and Tekken.
Yeah. Oh, another one. You know, I know we're gonna get back to the movie, but this is what we do. We sidetrack.
Yeah, I paused it.
But Box, did you ever play the what was that game? Area 51 with the aliens. Remember that one?
Yeah. Dude, I played a ton of games back in the day. I should start. I got so many games. I got a 7-year-old, dude. I can't sit there and play Grand Theft Auto 5.
But back, I guess since we on it, what was your system of choice back in the day?
PS2 was a big one for me. I had a modded PS2, so I could just burn the games.
Did you ever do like Genesis, Dreamcast?
Never had a Dreamcast. Never had any of that. I literally stuck with my PS2 for a long time. I had my PS2 until I moved here.
Man, before that though, but you had like a Nintendo, right?
I had a Nintendo, regular Nintendo. Never had the N64. My next move up from the regular Nintendo was PlayStation 1.
Yeah, because I was weird, because it's like I had the Nintendo. I never had the Super Nintendo, which in hindsight I wish I did, because there was some badass games in there. But I literally graduated from Nintendo to Sega, like Sega Genesis, and I had like a Game Gear. I skipped like the Game Boy era, but I just went to Genesis. I never had a Dreamcast.
No.
And then I graduated. Then from there, I went to play from Genesis. I went to PlayStation.
Yeah. I had a modded PlayStation 1. Both mine were modded. I could play burnt games on both of them. Matter of fact, I have 3 modded PlayStation 2s in my garage. Yeah.
I got to get back in the gaming actually, because like the last system I had was a PS2.
Yeah.
If the price kind of comes within reason, at one point I'm gonna try to get like a PS4.
Yeah, I actually used to fix them for people. I had an O-scope, and if your PlayStation didn't work, I could fix your laser. I could mod it. I could solder in a mod chip, whatever you wanted me to do. I bought 20 mod chips for like $10. And I was selling the mod chips for $50 a piece with installation.
Nice.
So it was pretty good. Dude.
Yep, this is why, Box, you are the undisputed king of production here at THT Studios.
Dude, that was fucking weed money, bro. No, I ain't getting rid of those PS2s yet, man. My son just started playing one a couple weeks ago, B-Meg. Sorry, man. But they're all modded. One has a swap disc. And 2, I actually soldered chips onto the chip.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, Box. Well, hey, look. If anything, the gaming community has grown. The gaming community has grown by leaps and bounds. A lot of gamers out there. So
I actually found.
I would say keep that skill up, because people still buy game systems.
Oh yeah. I actually found I hate to say torrent, but a long time ago I found a torrent for an emulator for like every PS2 game ever made and every Nintendo game ever made.
Wow.
So I have like every fucking one of them. Yeah, weebs. Being Jewish must be nice. It was. Back when you could actually make money without, people getting mad. Now everyone gets fucking mad about everything. But yeah, I used to fix people's PS2s and PlayStation 1s, and I would mod both of them.
Yeah, that kind of like, cause a buddy of mine, like he actually, now that you bring it up, he had like some simulated game modules on his computer, like those old, like remember the Turtle game, the Ninja Turtle game. Like I used to kill that game at the arcade. That and the Simpsons.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, I missed that Simpsons video game, boy. That was the original one from like the 90s. I spent a small fortune on that and the Turtles. I really did.
Let's see. I might have that NES on here.
And fuck, and I'm starting to date myself here. But remember Double Dragon?
Oh, one of my. Do you know how much money I spent on that game in the arcade?
I actually saved a bundle because like most kids scared of the dentist.
Yeah.
Well, I was not scared of the dentist for one reason. When I was a kid, like whenever I couldn't wait to go to the dentist because he had the game set up to where you didn't have to pay for him. And he had Double Dragon. I forgot the other one because Double Dragon was the one I played the most. I played that all the time. I could spend hours on that game, boy. I was woo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then I eventually got it and played it. I remember spending so much time playing Mike Tyson's Punch-Out and Double Dragon, and I may be a number or two off, but I believe the code to Mike Tyson is 007-373-8763. That's how much I played Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. That is embedded in my brain. Yep, that is the code to get directly to Tyson. I think it is. I'd probably have to look it up. Let me see if I got it right. Let's see. Mike Tyson Punch-Out. Tyson code. Let's see here. What did I say? 007-373-8763. Computer's loading. Let's see. Nope, I was a little wrong. 007-373-5963. So I switched the 87 with 5963. There you go. I was close. But yeah. Yeah, that's pretty scary. That's pretty scary. And there is 2 Tyson codes, as B-Meg says here. But yeah, I remember but Double Dragon, I remember spending a shitload of time playing, especially in the arcade. My aunt at the time was working in an arcade. So my parents would go to work, and she would have to go to work, and I would go with her during the summer. She would hand me just a handful of tokens, and I would go play for the day.
Nice. That's a good mom right there.
Yep.
I'm sorry, good aunt.
Yeah. Yeah. Back in the day, man. Back in the day. So,
yes.
I guess we should get back to Fast Times at Ridgemont High real quick. Not much left of the movie, actually.
Not much left, but let's
we will. Then we'll
knock that bitch out real quick, and then just get back to the random shit.
Yeah, then we'll bullshit a little more about the movie. Right now, we're at the part. I'm at the part where Mark Ratner, the little skinny nerd, finds out that Mike Damone banged the girl he was trying to get with. Meanwhile, we all know he ain't getting with her.
Hey, look, we look. The saying is true then, it's true now, it'll be true forever.
Mm-hmm.
Like that like the signature to the WWE Open, then, now, forever. Ain't no fun if the homies can't have none.
Bros before hoes, bro. Bros before hoes.
Hey, yeah.
So
you never put it. We talked about Tupac last week. You never put a bitch before your friend.
There you go.
Never put a bitch before your friend.
Yeah. And these two actually end up almost fighting, and it's the most awkward looking fight. They look like it's 1940s, and they're putting up their dukes. And
yes, nowadays somebody will pull out a gun and it'd be bullying, but this is another staple of like these teen movies.
Mm-hmm.
The nerdy guy that's always getting his ass whooped, and he finally say, you know what, enough is enough, and he stands up for himself. And he has that like coming to age. He has that moment where he just like that Revenge of the Nerds moment where it's like, fuck you, I'm not going to take your shit anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
That's basically what this was. But it was still awkward as fuck because even though he was getting pissed off, you knew if this were a legit situation, he would have got his ass handed to him.
Yeah, exactly. Gonna skip Definitely would have. Now, skip a little forward in this movie. You know, all right, they go through exams, they're taking tests, everybody's cheating, and Spicoli has been in Mr. Hand's class, and they're about to go to the school dance, and Mr. Hand comes into his room and decides to take up some of Spicoli's time because Spicoli has wasted 8 hours of Mr. Hand's time.
Yes.
But, basically, he teaches him, and again, the teacher becomes cool with him. It's kind of a Van Wilder type thing where if you in Van Wilder, Paul Gleason eventually comes up to Van and goes, I knew you could do it. I always saw the potential in you, even when you didn't. So it was kind of, a feel-good moment. And, they go to the dance. Everyone starts making up. Everything's all good. But then, everything starts getting all good. And really, that's the end of the movie. It starts kind of tying up. Stacy decides she doesn't just want sex anymore. She wants relationship and love.
Fuck that.
Fuck all that.
No.
Yeah.
Everybody wants that.
And Judge Reinhold ends up working at a convenience store because he's been looking for a good job since he got fired from his job, which was a scene we probably should have mentioned.
Yeah.
But, look, we just mentioned it. But, Judge Reinhold, this is one of those movies where it does tell you what happens to everyone at the end of the movie. So why don't I read those for you real quick?
Yes.
Give me 1 second here.
Oh, yeah, while you're bringing those...
Yeah, go ahead. Real quick, go ahead.
Judge Reinhold, motherfucking badass in this movie. Like,
dude.
Because motherfucking badass. And it's like, it's such a contrast from like the nerdy guy he played in Beverly Hills Cop movies. It's like it's like a mind fuck. Like I said, to see how like versatile it could be in terms of like he's a cool guy in Fast Times, he's a nerd in Beverly Hills Cop, and
well, in the second one,
vice versa.
He was a little cooler in Beverly Hills Cop too. So, all right, here we go. Judge Reinhold played Brad Hamilton, made manager of Mighty Mart on June 12th for stopping a robbery. Very nice. Way to go, Brad Hamilton. So there we go. Mike Damone ended up busted for scalping Ozzy Osbourne tickets, now working at a 7-Eleven. Obviously not, but in the movie he is. Let's see, who else we got here? Going to the next one. Mr. Vargas, who we mentioned, switched back to coffee because in the beginning of the movie he said, have a heart, I switched to Sanka today. So, and Sanka back then was like a real nasty coffee, like freeze-dried. Linda, played by Phoebe Cates, attended college in Riverside, now living with her abnormal psych professor. Let's see, we're going to get to Stacy, I think, next. Yes, Stacy and Mark Ratner are having a passionate love affair, but still have not gone all the way.
Wow. So, you know,
Mr. Hand,
that's pretty much the movie here.
And of course, Mr. Hand is pretty much convinced everyone's on dope because one of the greatest lines in that movie from him is,
what are you people, on dope?
Yeah.
Yeah,
the 1980s was the
yep,
the crack epidemic.
Yep, and of course Jeff Spicoli saved Brooke Shields from drowning, blows reward money hiring Van Halen to play his birthday party. So, and I think that might be it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like, and I guess hindsight is always 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they should have made a sequel, or do you think this was better as a standalone movie?
No, I am so glad they never. This is kind of, you could relate this to the same reason Ferris Bueller never got a sequel. What are you gonna do? Are they still going to be in high school? Yeah, it's kind of tough to do. Unless you give Judge Reinhold a job, and sequels weren't huge back then. People just made movies. Sequels became big after this. This movie never needed a sequel. Never remake this movie. This movie's perfect.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. You feel about this movie the same way I feel about Goodfellas.
Absolutely.
If they ever try to remake that shit, I swear Hollywood gonna have whatever happens. Hollywood had it coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look, I joke, but it's just certain movies, but that don't need to be touched. that you just kind of like, the same way they kind of like put them in like for preservation. They put them in like these societies, like to preserve them for future generations and to remake them and to restore them for all of these upteam releases and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
They should do the same thing when it comes to concepts and sequels, because it's like the stars align. You get the perfect characters. It's just like, look, well, you can't picture anybody but Judge Reinhold or Sean Penn or Phoebe Cates playing those characters.
Right.
You can't come back 30, 40 years down the line and go, ooh, who's the hot new dude? Who's the hot young thing out there that we can put in the Phoebe Cates role? Or it just won't work. It's not the same dynamic. It's not the same. They're not going to bring the same nuances to the role.
Yeah. You
know what I mean? Like Eddie Murphy is Axel Foley. You couldn't throw James Earl Jones in that role and get the same type of movie. Like, I'm not trying to be a dick here. Like, Al Pacino's a good actor, but I don't think he could have did what De Niro did in Goodfellas. You know what I mean? It's like it would have changed the dynamic of the movie.
Yeah, definitely. Now, you mentioned some actors. Some actors who auditioned for roles were, you ready for this? Ralph Macchio, Matthew Broderick.
Motherfucker. Whoa. We got to stop. Ralph Karate Kid. Ralph Macchio.
Okay, here.
Wax on, wax off.
Ralph Macchio, Karate Kid. Matthew Broderick, Ferris Bueller. Meg Tilly. Michelle Pfeiffer, Grease 2, and tons of movies after that. Lori Loughlin. Elizabeth Shue, Cocktail, Karate Kid. Kelly Preston, Rosanna Arquette, Carrie Fisher of Star Wars fame. Ali Sheedy of the, Breakfast Club and all the other movies, and D.B. Sweeney, all tried out for some roles in this movie, obviously did not get in. Now, here's another interesting fact. You mentioned before Cameron Crowe had posed as a student. Cameron Crowe wrote the screenplay based on his book. Cameron Crowe attended University of San Diego High School. He posed as a student at Claremont High School. The principal at the time was not thrilled with the idea, but when he asked Crowe about some of the musicians he had met, he mentioned the name Chris Christopherson. The principal was a huge fan and agreed to let him on campus.
Wow, that is phenomenal. I'm sorry, Weaves in the chat. Shout out to him once again for dropping knowledge. The film actually inspired a short-lived 1986 television series, I should say, for CBS called Fast Times.
Right.
See here. Ray Walton and Vincent Schiavelli reprised their roles respectively as Han and Vargas, the biology teacher. Other cast members were Courtney Thorne-Smith, who's still a piece of ass, as Stacy, Wallace Langham, credited as Wally Ward as Mark.
Yeah.
Claudia Wells, Back to the Future as Linda. Patrick Dempsey. Damn.
It was horrible.
Mike the Mo.
Yeah, it was horrible. I remember this. I watched one episode, never watched it again.
How long was it on? A year?
I think it might have only gone one, maybe 2 seasons. You could probably look it up.
Wow, they got 2 years.
I think it might have gone 2. Yeah, it was horrible. Absolutely.
Let me guess. Yeah, trying to take an R-rated movie and put it on TV typically doesn't work.
Yeah. Now, speaking of some of the actors used, Tom Hanks was considered for the Judge Reinhold role of Brad. Ralph Macchio actually was asked to do a role, but demanded a salary the director could not afford.
Wow. My, how the mighty have fallen.
This movie only took 5 weeks to make.
Yeah. That's not, and honestly, it's a classic. But if you kind of look at some of the dialogue in the movie, it's like if it took longer than that, I would have been shocked because it's not like it's not very heavy handed, and it's not like a lot of meat to the movie in terms of like, oh, they had to go into deep thought and deep concentration for months and months on end.
Right. Now
it's not one of those movies.
Right, exactly. Now you had, we've talked before about method actors getting stuck in roles and, things like that. During the shooting of this film, Sean Penn was so into the character that he would only answer to Spicoli. In fact, even had the plate on his dressing room door changed from Sean Penn to Spicoli.
Wow.
So he really got into this character enough to where they said he became crazy and he even, put out a cigarette with a fire extinguisher just to understand the character more.
That is, oh yes, thank you, Weebs. Let me see. According to Weebs, number 2 on Entertainment Weekly's list of the 50 best high school movies is Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And number 1, do you want to wager a guess? Well, it's already in the chat, so you see it. The Breakfast Club. So that actually does my heart proud right there. Because Breakfast Club is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Ah. There you go.
Yeah.
Ah, very nice. Let's see. I'm trying to see if there's any more little interesting facts over here on the IMDb about this movie. There really aren't. Nothing I really care to read. The guy who played, even though they made the guy 26 years old who played Ron Johnson, that was with Jennifer Jason Leigh. He was really only 7 months older than her.
Yeah.
So no real teenagers were, in fact, harmed in the making of this movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Box, all jokes aside, where do you stand on that? Just the implication that that was implied in the movie. What do you kind of think of that? Do you think that's kind of crossing the line of decency or no?
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess being a father now, I picture what if that was my daughter.
Yeah.
And I'm armed. I'd shoot them. I do picture that. I mean, it is. But I mean, look, back then, Dirty Dancing was a fucking pedophile movie. Yeah. She was only 17 at that time, and, he was, I don't know how old he was made to be in that movie, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, It's not right, but back then it just didn't have the stigma that it has now. I don't know why. I really can't tell you. I was pretty young back in those days, and just that didn't think of. I was very young, so.
Oh! By the way, since we're on this topic, and just based off some interesting conversation we had off air last week, shout out to a friend to the show in the chat room currently, Bobby Anthem. Who also is a father
yes.
of some girls, so he can relate to this segment of the show right now.
Oh, I'll bet he's going, "You're goddamn right, it's wrong, motherfuckers." All right. And he should be. He should be yelling right now.
Yeah. It's funny how as you get older, your perspective on certain things change. I mean, as it should.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, if you're in your 40s and you're still, your mindset is still the same as it was when you're 18, there's a problem with that. If you 42 and you thinking like you was when you was 18, it's pretty much, yeah, you might want to crawl back into your mom and start over again because you messed up somewhere along the way in life.
Well, maybe your mom did. Might not want to crawl back up there. But shit, that was wrong to say. Wow. Yeah, I mean, that was pretty much it. Like we've said a few times already, this was a coming-of-age movie. There are many like this. This movie was often imitated, never duplicated. We got movies like, you had said Can't Hardly Wait, but, we got, there's so many of these high school movies like this. What's that one movie? 10 Things I Hate About You, another coming of age.
That's another good movie.
Look, I don't care what. Look, I like that movie. I know it's a girl movie, it's a chick flick, but it's watchable.
Yeah, I fucked it. I mean, look, it's this stigma like, oh, this is a chick flick. To me, a good movie is a good movie, regardless of the demographic, a rom-com or a horror movie. Look, I can damn near watch anything. The only thing I'm really not big on is I've never really been a big horror guy.
Right.
But generally speaking, I can watch damn near anything.
Pretty much I can. Yeah, and I'm not a big horror person either. There are certain horror films that I really like, though.
I like, I'm more drawn to like psychological thrillers because I mean, the over the top, slicing and dicing somebody. I mean, clearly it's not real,
right?
So it's like I don't know. Even as a kid, I never understood the concept of how people could be afraid of these movies because it's like even though it's like a shocking visual,
right.
It's something that in reality wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
So what the fuck are you tripping about?
Yeah. Now, but yeah, you're 100% right. But back to what we were, some of the movies that stemmed off of this, you can think of, we said 10 Things I Hate About You, Can't Hardly Wait. 16 Candles was 2 years after this. American Pie, Pretty in Pink, and 4 years after this.
Another one which was a parody was Not Another Teen Movie.
I love that movie.
Fucking. I don't give a fuck what nobody says. I love that fucking movie.
Yeah, and Dazed and Confused was a coming of age type of movie from back. Yeah, it was a little later, but still, that was one of those coming of age movies. Say Anything with John Cusack. I honestly, I love that movie. You could even throw in like Napoleon Dynamite, Jawbreaker, Grease 1 and 2, Better Off Dead. Holy shit. John Cusack in that movie, Better Off Dead, is a complete coming-of-age movie. We need to do that movie one night because there's a lot of interesting facts about that movie we could get into. Do you know that movie I'm talking about?
Better Off Dead? Definitely.
Oh, great.
Another. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Cause I love John Cusack.
I do too.
He did another movie. Go ahead, finish your thought.
No. I was just saying. I mean, there's only a few more that I can even think of off the top of my head. Man, kind of stumped me there. What was I thinking of there? Oh, look, Risky Business. The year after this came out, another kind of coming of age, high schoolish movie. Yeah. What can I think of? Varsity Blues. Yeah. Definite high school movie. And Porky's, The Wanderers. Another one of my favorite movies. I don't care. Wanderers is one of my favorite, and I've said before, that song in there is a guy named Dion. I went to school with his daughter, August DiMucci.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, I went to high school with her. She was the coolest chick. She'd be at every party.
Oh yeah, she had juice. She had that juice.
She was
not that juice, but she had.
Believe it or not, she was kind of a goth chick.
Wow. I bet that was that common back then.
Dude, when do you
like now? It's like a cool thing to do, but it's like back then. It's like things that were considered socially acceptable now are like you were like the weird kid.
When do you think I went to the high school? The fucking 50s?
Let me stop fucking.
It was
with
like
Box.
1990 fucking 2 and 3 and what the fuck?
let me stop for a box. Pull out the guns for real.
How fucking old do you think I am, dude? Come on.
Oh god.
No. Yeah, there was a ton of those, but yeah, she was kind of not like full, but she wasn't like the total like I'm gonna eat your soul, but.
Because no, seriously, all jokes aside, when you brought that up, you know what I was thinking of? Man, this is an obscure flick. Do you remember a movie from like the mid-90s called The Craft?
Oh, fuck yeah. Shannon Doherty.
That's what when you brought that up, that's kind of like what I was thinking of. That's what I was going with the thought I was.
Oh, I do like that movie too. That's another one I do enjoy. I like that movie, The Craft. That's a great movie, dude.
I'm actually surprised. That's one of those movies that a lot of people forget about.
We'll do that.
I want to say it came out like 93, 94 era.
I think 94, 95 would be a safe bet on that one. Let me see. Give me 2 seconds here. The Craft, load up, motherfucker. Computer's slow tonight, man.
Oh, while you're looking that up, I found that movie with Cusack that I was talking about.
96.
Wow.
Yeah, go ahead.
What was it? It was Lisa Bonet was in it, I believe. What was that? I just had it too.
John Cusack, Lisa Bonet. And you know what? Weebs brings up another couple great movies about coming of age. And you know, you got to throw it in there. Boys in the Hood is another high school coming of age type movie. Very good call. Ferris Bueller. Scream.
Scream, what?
You dick. All right, now don't just start putting shit in there, Weebs, and expect me to fucking read it, okay? All right. Urban Cowboy. Fucking. Dickhead. Passenger 57. Definite coming of age movie.
So are you trying to imply that Weebs is trying to get himself over in the chat room?
Oh, never. I would never.
Like how much random shit can I type and go, ooh, what can I get them to read off next?
Probably more than you think. Let's see here. What? Not much more. Let's play a few. We were talking about quotes. God damn it, I'm echoing.
Oh, I found it. Thank you, Google.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, John, because this was killing me. Do you remember a movie called Gross Point Blank?
Oh yes. Dan Aykroyd, John Cusack.
Lisa Bonet was in it.
Was she?
I believe she was.
No, she wasn't.
Let me look it up.
No.
I swear she was in it. They were in a movie together.
Gross Point Blank. That's on my DVR.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Shit, I got that on DVD somewhere. We got to review that.
We
movie.
will one night. We'll definitely do that in a couple of weeks. I think now that we fucking said Better Off Dead, I might just knock that out for next week. Maybe. Let's see here. We've got. That was not Lisa Bonet. Minnie Driver. She is so weirdly sexy.
Yeah, because it's been a while since I just remember they was in a movie. It'll come to me, but that's a movie that I like so freaking much.
Jeremy Piven. He got to work with his mother in this movie.
Fucking Alan Arkin was in this.
Alan Arkin was in this movie. Absolutely. Talk about under fucking rated. Hank fucking Azaria was in this movie. If you don't know who Hank Azaria is, go fuck yourself. Do you know who?
Yeah.
Do you know who that is?
Very well, sir.
Yes,
I know who he is.
He is most of the voices on The Simpsons, number one, but he has been in tons of movies. Quiz Show, I think, is one of his best movies.
Oh, dang! That's a throwback right there.
I love Quiz Show with John Turturro, and that is an amazing movie. But Hank Azaria is an under fucking rated actor. One of the greatest voice guys in Hollywood. You probably don't even know you're hearing his voice.
And plus, he was in I ain't gonna cut you off. You talk about underrated. He was also in a fucking Pretty Woman.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's another good movie. That's gonna be on the review list, I think. And he was in The Birdcage, Robin Williams, Nathan Lane.
Yeah, yep, he was.
And fucking another movie we will definitely be reviewing. It's long as fuck, but who cares? Heat.
Yep, Heat.
Fucking Heat.
Yep, Mystery Men.
Yeah.
Mystery Men he was in. He did Friends. He was in 5 or 6 shows of Friends.
Yeah, he also did Godzilla, but hey, they all can be winners.
And he was in Dodgeball. And he was in Godzilla with Matthew Broderick. This is just top of my head what I'm thinking of, but I mean, he goes as far back as shows like Growing Pains, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Family Ties, cameos on that. But, Quiz Show was one of his first major move. Pretty Woman was, and then Quiz Show was right after. But Quiz Show is really an amazing movie. If you have not seen Quiz Show, seek it out. I don't think it's on Netflix, but seek that out one way or the other. That is an amazing fucking movie. It tells all about. We'll get into that one night, but it's basically about a 1950s quiz show, kind of like Jeopardy.
I've seen it like over the years, but I was a kid when that came out. But basically the gist of it is it's about those the game shows from the 40s and the 50s, right. And it gives you like a behind the scenes kind of perspective on what was going on, the bullshit they would pull, how they would set certain things up.
I can't remember.
To put people in positions to look good, make some people look like idiots, not that type of thing.
I think it might have been maybe it was a true story, but I mean that movie had everybody in it: John Turturro, Hank Azaria, Chris McDonald. Everybody knows. Let's see. For the audience, he was in Happy Gilmore. He was Shooter McGavin.
Yeah.
Mira Sorvino is in that movie. It's just an excellent movie, Quiz Show. John Turturro's great in it, and just if you have not seen it, I implore you to check it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Implore you.
Yes.
And speaking of which, as you can see, we are actually done with the professional portion of the show. We reviewed Fast Times at Ridgemont High as advertised. So if you want to call in, number to call, 469-206-4466. Again, that number is 469-206-4466. Or you can Skype in THT Podcast.
There you go. We were talking about some of the most famous lines from the movie earlier. So let's go ahead and play a few sound clips and just kind of... I got a few here. Let's see. What do I got here? I've got the... let's see. I played the Hey Bud. I played that. Of course, I play this one all the time.
That was my skull. I'm so wasted.
Box. Before I forget, you're like me. You like random ass movies. Do you remember? Obviously, it's not the same. This is one of those reasons why I missed the '90s. Remember Skinamax, and you know how Skinamax used to be, especially like around 10. Cinemax and Showtime around like 11, 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's when they would just go, like, they would show some fucking phenomenal movies.
Yeah.
For all the right reasons, for all the wrong reasons.
Yes, I do.
There was a movie, and I actually still have a VHS of it. Came out in 1992, called The Other Woman. Have you ever seen that movie?
I have not, but I have heard of it.
You have to see that movie.
Okay.
Yes, because I want to actually review that on the show. It's actually a good. It's an erotic thriller, and I'm not sure if I have like the standard version or they made an uncut erotic version.
Really?
Yes. It's just a good freaking movie, man. That because I'm gonna throw some movies at you for a minute.
Okay.
That are like really like random and rare.
Bring them.
Other Woman. Did you ever hear of a movie called Miracle Beach? Have you seen it?
No and no.
You have to see that fucking movie. It's a movie. It's like a great fucking movie, but it's obscure as fuck.
B-Megs.
I'm going to actually look it up right now, but just off the top of my head, I remember. It's been years since I saw it. But basically, the gist of it was you had like a down on his luck loser, who can't catch a break, and he lives on the beach. He has a girl that he's into, but he can't get her. The whole sad sack story. Right. It stars Dean Cameron. I don't know if you know him. If you know him, he was in Men at Work. He was the pizza delivery boy.
Yes, he was.
And Amy Dollance, and I'm getting to it. She's a genie. It's one of those out there. It's like a fantasy comedy movie. He finds a magic lamp on the beach, and she's like a sexy genie. Gives him 3 wishes. Long story short, he ends up falling in love with her.
Of course.
They get together at the end of the movie, but it's like, he winds up getting rich, and he wishes for all of these things, but the whole moral of the story is sometimes what you want is not what you need, and what you need is what you should want. That type of thing.
Is his third wish for the girl?
I believe it was.
Of course it is, goddammit. It's a fucking movie.
Yes.
BMX is like, yeah, I saw that one.
Man. Like, all right, I'm gonna read a quick synopsis if you'll indulge.
Let me get my beer.
But it's a good.
Where's my
movie,
beer?
trust me.
Here's my beer. Go ahead.
It's not bad. It's not bad. It's a paragraph.
All right, go ahead.
And there's no N-bomb, so you don't have to worry about that.
Hey,
even if it was,
that's all you, dude. You can say whatever you want on my show.
I'm bulletproof. I'm bulletproof.
You're bulletproof.
All right, Scotty McKay. That's his name. Dean Cameron in the
You're
movie.
N-proof.
It's just an everyday beach bum who used to have it all. When he finds an attractive genie named, and this is creative, folks, Jeannie. her mission is to assist Scotty. With Jeannie's help, Scotty has everything again and more, as Jeannie does his bidding and answers to his every beck and call. That is until he asks Jeannie to make him more desirable to the next door supermodel, Dana, played by Felicity Waterman. She's random. You don't know her. I don't either. Jeannie can't help as far as love is concerned, and besides, Dana is just not interested. Jeannie soon runs into problems when she finds herself attracted to Scotty and finds it difficult to help him win Dana's heart. The story ensues with a gamut of events resulting in mayhem. So basically, the genie catches feelings for him, and they eventually if I remember correctly, they wind up getting together in the end. But like one of the only things, like, you know how like every genie has rules, like you can't wish for more wishes. You only have like 3 standard. It's like a bikini movie and a fantasy movie all rolled into one.
A bikini genie movie?
Yeah. I can't. It's like, look, if you like dopey movies with like out of this world concepts, you would like this movie.
I do.
All right, I got that one out of the way.
I do.
Do you remember a series of movies called The Bikini Car Wash Company?
Mm-hmm. Those were Skinamax.
Yes,
I remember those.
Remember those? I mean, once again, that they had little to no plot to them, but my God, they were fucking
and
great.
They had a pirate, like a pirate mountain one where these girls were on. I remember that one too.
Was that the one? Because forgive me, but was that the one with Bagwell? Because I remember Bagwell popping up in one of them.
I don't know. I might not have recognized Bagwell. There was one girl in all those Skinamax movies with long, blondish, reddish hair, kind of a long face, sort of big lips. I forget what her name is, but she was in...
Clearly you're not talking about Shannon Tweed.
No. That's fucking Gene Simmons.
You know Shannon Tweed.
That's Gene Simmons' chick.
Oh, and she's another one that held up for a long ass time.
Mm-hmm.
Shannon Tweed.
Yeah. Let's see.
And since we're going down this road, remember a show called Hot Springs Hotel?
Yes.
On Showtime?
Yes.
I love that fucking show. I don't give a fuck. I loved it. Especially this is Tit Talk. Fuck it. Remember the redheaded chick on that show?
Yeah.
Oh my God. She was gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Let's see if I can find the name of that chick I'm thinking of. She was in a ton of these. If I see her name, I'll be like, yeah, that's her. But I don't know. I'm looking through IMDb here to see if I can find it. But I don't know. She was in a ton of these fucking movies. Oh my God, Don Swayze was in one of those Skinamax movies. You know who that is?
Don Swayze. Refresh my memory. What else was he in?
That is Patrick Swayze's brother.
Don Swayze.
I remember him he did an episode of NYPD Blue. Yep, that is Patrick Swayze's brother, Don Swayze. Joey Travolta was in one of these movies. Whoa. Joey Travolta. Well, first of all, the movie that I was talking about where was that movie that I was talking about? Don Swayze was Beach Babes from Beyond.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm getting nostalgic, but I actually, I mean, like sometimes it wasn't even just for the obvious reasons you watch them. I liked them because they were so over the top, cheesy.
Some of them were just fucking horrible.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of it. And like with a show like this, they're tailor made for review and to be skewered. And honestly, once again, those movies were not made. A lot of them, and this is a little known fact, or maybe it is a known fact. A lot of those Skinamax movies actually starred real porn stars.
Oh yeah,
they either were porn stars that maybe did it full time, like that did actual full frontal, or they dabbled in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of them did. They just, fuck, it's got to be the easiest way to do. Oh, I think it was called Bikini Pirates. Let me see.
Oh, wait a minute. I think I know what you're talking about. Like, it wasn't like 3 chicks.
I think so. I think it might have been Nicole Sheridan who I'm thinking of. That's who it was.
That's another one. That's the chick that was on Desperate Housewives, wasn't it?
She was, I don't know, but she was, yeah. She was in a ton of these movies. That's her, Nicole Sheridan. She's in a ton of these fucking Skinamax movies, dude.
Yeah.
Yep, that's her.
Yeah.
Yep.
Remember Red Shoe Diaries?
God damn.
Since we going down this is random. So all of this shit is just popping in my head. Red Shoe fucking Diaries.
Never.
When the fuck did even on cable, man, I'm noticing like a lot of these stations that used to be all out literally go balls deep and balls out. Even they didn't lost their nerve when it comes to what they put on the air.
Cinemax still does the Skinamax shows after the certain amount of time at night.
Yeah, but you can't beat the I would say mid to late 90s, early 2000s era.
Oh yeah.
And it's like I wish. I mean, obviously they still gotta own the rights to that shit. They need to do a like we talk about old shit on Fridays. They need to do like a retro Friday or throwback Thursday or something. Like keep that shit out there. Like just kind of like rewind button, because like I said, I miss that cheesy shit. I really do. I'm a fan of the cheese.
I am too, man, and I loved some of those things. Were not bad, not bad at all. I was looking at B-Meg's silk stockings. I remember that.
Let me see if I can find that thing.
I remember that shit, man.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Weaves. He brings up another interesting factoid. Remember all of the Girl on Girls that Candace Michelle was on pre-WWE?
Oh, a lot of those are still on like YouTube and shit.
Yeah. And it's so fucked up that when they first introduced her on Raw with the Diva Search shit,
yeah, my
first thought was, oh shit, Cinemax shit. That was my first fucking thought. Like, well, to be fair, this is even though they were public, this is before they went full on PG,
mm-hmm.
So it wasn't that shocking that they would use her. But it was just still like, oh, I know that. That was the first thought that popped in my head.
Yeah.
I saw that chick on Cinemax.
Yeah, and you know what? B-Megs brings up a name that did a lot of those soft-core-ish movies. David Duchovny. He did a lot of those soft-core porns, and I think he might have actually done a regular porn, but yeah, he did all that shit too, man. But what other random movies you got for me real quick? We don't need to go much longer, but we'll probably go another 5 or 10 minutes.
I'm trying to think here. I'm in my way back machine.
Yeah, we might as well go about 10 more minutes. We'll go to midnight. Midnight my time, 1 o'clock your time.
Yeah, fuck it. I'm trying to think. Let me see. Other woman, I brought that one up. Remember a guy called, you should know him, C. Thomas Howell.
Dude. Pony Boy.
Yeah,
of course I.
But he like, I mean, obviously he did Soul Man. He was like one of those guys that was big in the '80s and was projected to have a big career. Somewhere along the way, he kind of fell off. And then, like in the '90s, he did like a lot of not softcore, but he did like a lot of those type of movies. And a movie that he did, I'm trying to remember the name of it. I actually have a VHS copy of it. I remember. He had like the porn star mustache, and that's when he was starting to grow his hair. It was called Payback. You have to see this. It's a very good movie.
Payback.
It's called Payback. Not the Mel Gibson one. There was one. It was let me look it up. I want to get the right facts here on it. I want to say it came out 90.
I mean, he was in E.T., let's not forget.
Yeah.
Before.
He was also in another flick called, remember a movie called That Night? HBO used to play the hell out of that flick with Juliette Lewis.
Yeah. And we're gonna have to do the Outsiders one night because so many famous actors stemmed off of that movie. I mean, Tom Cruise, Emilio Estevez, Patrick Swayze. Tons of Rob Lowe, tons of actors have gone off of that movie. So that's definitely another one that's going to have to be on our short list of, probably within the next month. I'd like to do that one.
Yeah, it's called Payback. Came out in 1995.
I see it right there.
Yeah, and matter of fact, remember Joan Severance?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we since we were talking about softcore porn, man, it's a couple heavy scenes in there with them going at it, and let's just say this was Joan Severance at the peak of her sex appeal.
Wow, he's actually done a shitload of movies, man. I didn't realize that he was in The Glades, that TV series. I haven't really watched that. I know it's a cop show. Surprised I haven't watched it. I know. Sons of Anarchy. He was even in an episode of that. And he's been in a bunch of Criminal Minds episodes.
Yeah,
oh my
once
God.
Again, we always talk about it, but we always say it's a lot of guys that you don't think of, but they've been in a lot of shit that just fly under the radar.
I know exactly who this guy is in Criminal Minds.
Yeah.
I did not know that was him in Criminal Minds. He's George Foyet. He killed fucking one of the head guy's fucking wives. Jesus Christ. I didn't know that was him. I knew he looked familiar, but I just didn't realize that was him.
Yeah, I mean, everybody ages, but you look at him now, like he's older. He got to be in his like early 50s, late 40s. Mm-hmm. He just, but he doesn't look recognizable at all from the way I remember him.
Well, he doesn't look like fucking Pony Boy anymore, so. That's what everyone really thinks of is, holy shit, it's Pony Boy. And
Outsiders reference right there.
Absolutely. He just doesn't look like that anymore, so.
B-Man, did DB Sweeney, I think he passed away.
No.
You sure?
Pretty sure. He has, let's see, he has a show he's doing right.
Oh well, if he has a show, then I might have him mixed up with somebody.
Let me see here. Major Crime.
He has not passed away. I apologize for that, folks.
He's actually on a show called Major Crimes, which I'm surprised I've never watched. Which is still running from 2012 to still going now.
So that's going to be on your to watch list.
Now I'm gonna have to fucking see if I can catch up on it. Major Crimes.
Yeah, that's another guy that's been around a long time.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to find that show now. Who's in this show?
Fire in the Sky. Oh, I actually remember that movie. Remember Fire in the Sky?
I actually really liked that movie, and it was actually on cable about 3-4 months ago, and I watched it.
Yeah, damn! This is bringing me back. The Cutting Edge. Remember that movie?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, I remember that. Yeah, Fire in the Sky was a really good movie, man. Fucking UFO movie where a bunch of basically lumberjacks. They were lumberjacks, weren't they? Yeah, they were lumberjacks. Got one of them got taken by an alien.
Oh, speaking of which, we were just talking about him a couple weeks ago on the show. I mean, he passed away, unfortunately. But Gene Wilder, the other day, I don't know if it was dumb luck, I was off, and I actually came across See No Evil, Hear No Evil.
Ah, great movie.
Yeah, I was like, wow. And it was like, once again, I was just channel surfing, and when I found out, it was still near the beginning. I said, fuck it, I gotta watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta watch it.
No, yeah, I agree. Yeah, Fire in the Sky, man, that was a good fucking movie. I remember that movie a lot.
I just remember because it came out in '93, and I just remember seeing a lot of fucking like commercials for that movie.
Another one I actually remember seeing in the theater. By the way, speaking of deaths, another movie we're going to have to do very soon. Hatchet Face. The girl who played Hatchet Face in Crybaby did pass away yesterday. So I'm trying to get her actual name. Give me 2 seconds here. I can't believe I forgot it, but I did.
I'm looking it up right now for you.
Yeah, right here. Kim McGuire, who played Hatchet Face yesterday, dead at age 60. So rest in peace. That is a absolutely excellent movie. Just definitely a parody of a lot of the old 50s like greaser movies, like Grease and things like that. But a Johnny Depp movie, what an amazing movie. I love that movie. I'll watch that tons of times.
Yes. And since you brought up Crybaby, you know who else was in that movie? In addition to a young Ricky Lake.
Tracy Lords.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Were you a Tracy Lords fan? Y'all would have been around the same age when she became famous.
Well, I mean, obviously before everyone found out she was 15 years old doing those videos, she was.
Now, how fucked up is that? Now those fucking those porns are fucking locked away in somebody's fucking closet,
but
only to be jerked off.
But you can still, dude, you can still find them on porn sites. They're still on porn sites.
Yeah, but remember, no. All jokes aside, though, that was a big deal.
That was huge.
Because I remember for a while that shit was hard. That was like the fucking I can't even think of the words, but that was like the holy grail of porn for like the longest time. Because like once it got out that she was like 14, 15 making those movies, that shit got pulled with the quicks.
She was 15. I mean, she falsified all of her records, so and actually
she did grow up into a very attractive young lady.
And actually, they're bringing up Boogie Nights. That is an excellent movie, B-Megs. You are 100% correct. That should be somewhere in everyone's top 10.
Boogie Nights.
Boogie Nights is a great...
I like it. I'm only fucking...
No, great fucking movie.
Now, I haven't seen the movie.
Really?
But no, I've seen that Boogie. Oh,
yeah, it's loosely based on John Holmes.
No, yeah, that's where I was going with it. Remember the movie? Because I've always been fascinated by his story. Because I don't know if back in the day, did you ever watch the old True Hollywood Stories?
Yeah,
I used to love that show. I mean, they still play it here and there, but I like the original incarnation of the show with the eerie music, and they would actually go in depth on things. Like now, it's like they like cookie cutter now with it,
of course,
and it's like they're like PG with it. But when that show first came on the scene, they would go hardcore to give you a taste of how fucking hardcore they were. The very first episode they did was about O.J. Simpson. Like it was called O.J., Nicole, and Ron.
Wow.
That was the very first episode.
Now, speaking of that, have you seen that? What was it? Not American Horror Story.
But thank you, B-Max. The movie I was referring to that I actually got to get around to seeing was called Wonderland.
There you go.
Oh, was it Wonderland? With Val Kilmer? Correct me if I'm wrong, B-Max. It was about John Holmes.
That would be about right. That sounds like what his life was like. It was a
Yes,
Wonderland.
thank you. Yeah, but in another movie, while we're on the subject, I did tell you about this a little while ago, but make sure you see Autofocus. That's about Bob Crane.
Yeah, I do need to see that one too, man.
That's actually good because once again, that's another movie. Since we're on this topic, he was actually big into the porn scene and filming himself, and this is going back to the fucking mid '60s, early '70s,
right?
And then back then, that stuff was still fairly new. But he was ahead of his time. Like I guess he would have been the kind of guy Seth Rollins looked up to.
Yeah, I guess so. And we brought up Fire in the Sky a minute ago. That's going to tie into a couple of weeks ago when we did son of a bitch Terminator 2. Even Weaves brings up that Robert Patrick was in that movie. Obviously, Robert Patrick was the T-1000. I believe, in Terminator 2, so there you go right there. all tied in together.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
man.
yeah, Boogie Nights is a great fucking. Mark Wahlberg's amazing. Come on, we get to see Heather Graham nude more. Who doesn't always want to see Heather Graham naked?
Will fucking Ferrell had a memorable scene in that movie too. Remember Will Ferrell?
Did he?
Yeah, I mean, maybe not memorable, but that's kind of like when he was at his peak in terms of like just coming up with some outrageous shit.
It's been a long time since I've actually watched that movie in full. I probably need to.
Oh, Will, another one. Remember Night at the Roxbury?
Oh, I fucking love that movie. It's so stupid. It's funny, and of course, we get to see what's her name, Lonnie Anderson. Lonnie Anderson.
Oh,
I think that's her goddamn name.
Yeah. Oh, I know exactly who you are.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know exactly who you're talking about. I mean, she's before my time, but fuck it, they got reruns for a reason. WKRP in Cincinnati.
I have that whole show on my external hard drive. And you're right. B. Meg John C. Reilly was in Boogie Nights. You're right.
That's another guy that's fucking underrated. He needs to be talked about way more than he is.
He's been around and it's funny he's doing all the comedies he's doing now because he really was kind of think back to Days of Thunder. He was in that. And even more, you know what? Let me do a little highlight here. Look up some.
And another thing, like he reminds me of. Mm-hmm. He kind of reminds me of like the career path like Leslie Nielsen took. Now I don't know about you. I'm a Leslie Nielsen guy. Yeah. And even though he kind of like made his nuts and bolts on like doing like I would say like more observational comedy. Because he was always the straight man. Even though he was in outrageous shit, he was always the straight man that was surrounded by like insanity. Whether it was the Naked Gun movies, whether it was Spy Hard, which I still love for that random ass Hulk Hogan appearance. Dracula Dead and Loving It. Rest in peace. I miss that dude so fucking much.
Me too, man.
He was fucking hilarious. He was gold.
Mm-hmm. Now, John C. Reilly, it's kind of funny, he's kind of the guy you're like, well, is he like the leading man or is he just a fucking comedy guy? But go back to even 1989, think about movie Casualties of War with Michael J. Fox. He was in that. Days of Thunder, like I said. Hoffa with Jack Nicholson.
And fucking Jack Nicholson actually did. He was the dead ringer for fucking Jimmy Hoffa.
Yeah, he was great. Thin Red Line. Gangs of New York. He was in Gangs of New York. He was in Chicago. The Aviator. And then he, after a few movies, he just started doing comedies. Talladega Nights was really his first comedy. Well, he was in Anger Management for a minute or two, but this was really his first real comedy. Then he started doing Walk Hard, The Dewey Cox Story, and all the movies with Step Brothers, and all the movies with.
Just still, I don't give a fuck. That should win an Academy Award.
That shit's funny as hell, dude. And he's one of the voices in Wreck-It Ralph. He's Ralph. God damn it.
Now, isn't it funny how the people you wouldn't expect to be funny are the most hilarious people? Because it's I don't know. It's I think honestly those guys. I think the guys that the so-called dramatic actors that you don't think could pull off comedy. Those probably are Those are probably the funniest people because they understand the art of the performance.
Wow, look at this. B-Megs in the chat brings up I did not know this. John C. Reilly is actually in a bluegrass band. He saw him in a barn here in Iowa, he says. He's quite talented. I did not fucking know that.
So that means I guess in Dewey Cox he was doing his own stunts,
I guess so to speak. He did his own stunts. He also won an Academy Award for Chicago. Didn't know that either. So, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
It was one other thing. Damn it, what's the name of that movie? Well, while I'm thinking of the one I was thinking of, another movie I wanted to bring up real quick. Remember a movie called X-Rated with Emilio Estevez and Charlie Sheen, or Carlos Estevez?
Yeah.
It was made for TV. It was on Showtime. It's one of those movies that fly under the radar, but I remember enjoying that movie.
Yeah. I do remember that.
That was actually that was a good movie.
That was a while back.
Ironically enough, that was one of the. I think that might have been the last time they worked together. But for them to be brothers, they didn't work together a whole hell of a lot.
No, that movie, Men at Work.
Young Guns 1 and 2.
No, 1.
Oh no, you're right. I'm sorry. Scratch
Charlie
that.
died in 1.
Yeah, you're right. Scratch that.
Dick just got his guts blown out. That's what they said.
But yeah, we definitely gonna do a Charlie Sheen. I mean, because look, personal issues aside, Charlie Sheen, when he wants to be, is a motherfucking good actor. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
Watch Wall Street.
And the best part is, he basically plays different versions of himself.
Yeah.
he plays a great asshole. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and
Major League.
Oh yeah.
Wall Street. He plays a believable asshole.
And B-Megs brings up Judgment Night. Emilio Estevez is in Judgment Night.
Oh, fuck
we
yeah.
have brought that movie. You know what?
That's on the list, B-Megs. That's on the fucking list.
You know what? Let's just do it next week. Judgment Night. We're going to go ahead and do that next week, B-Megs, just because we brought it up twice. I think you brought it up twice tonight. So, Judgment Night next Friday at 11 o'clock Eastern Time. We will do that. Definitely. I like that.
We're going to make it like 5 weeks in a row of actually having an established start time.
Yeah.
This is like Friday nights at 11 is our new updated version of Saturday night at 6:05.
There you go.
20 something years from now, God willing, we alive and healthy. Tune in Friday night, 11 o'clock, on whatever the new technology is. We'll be there.
Hell yeah. We will. There you go. B-Megs is going to watch it and prepare. I'm going to watch it too, just again.
Yeah, like I said, I remember bits and pieces, but man, once again, that was a nice little cast they had there. Like, you had Cuba Gooding Jr., you had fucking Emilio Estevez.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, let me look that up.
Dennis Leary, Jeremy Pivens.
Oh, Dennis, motherfucker.
Yep.
Where the fuck is his props at?
Dude.
Dennis fucking Leary.
His comedy aside, because everybody says, and it's been proven, a lot of his comedy was stolen from Bill Hicks. But anyway, with all his comedy aside, I like him in a lot of movies. One of the best movies he's in is called Suicide Kings. I've brought this movie up before with him, Christopher Walken, the kid from Roseanne.
DJ. Not
no,
DJ.
No. The kid from Roseanne, the one who played DJ's boyfriend, the one from Big Bang Theory.
Oh, yeah. Johnny Geilich, something like that. Yeah, Darlene's boy.
Right.
Yeah, I know you talking about.
He's in it. It is a great Jay Moore. I'm a Jay Moore fan too.
Yeah, he was in a few things. What's the other thing?
Jerry Maguire.
Remember Ref? No, I'm not talking about. I'm still on this Dennis Leary kick. I remember he was in the Ref. Remember that one?
Yep. Dennis Leary was in that. Let me think here. Dennis Leary movie. Oh, fuck. I'm going to have to IMDb. I don't know why. Whenever it comes time for me to think of shit, I can't fucking think of shit. I guarantee it's going to pull up Dennis Miller before it pulls up Dennis Leary. There we go. It did.
Dang, that's a damn shame.
I know, man. Dennis Miller.
I mean, I liked him at some point. Dang, what the fuck happened to Dennis? Honestly, ever since he had that Raw episode where he bombed, I have not seen him since.
I believe it was his football commentating that kind of killed him. Let me think back to some of these. Actor. Here we go. Give me a second here. Some of the movies he's been in. Demolition Man.
Oh shit!
Fucking,
yeah, that was a good
oh come on. He was in one of the Underworld movies, the last one, I think, the first one. The Small Soldiers. I remember him from that. I mean, he hasn't done a ton of movies, but he's been the voice in the Ice Age movies. He does a show called Rescue Me on Fox. I believe it ended in 2011. But I think he's got another fucking show coming out now on Fox. He was in Draft Day, which I think is a great movie. I know Smark always says how horrible it is because he knows a little more about it. I know nothing about football. To me, Draft Day was a good movie. I don't watch football regularly, so to me, it's great.
We'll think about it, B. Megs. The dude from Big Bang fucking review Roseanne. Who knows? Hey, I don't know about Boxman, but Roseanne for like the first 6-7 years was a damn good show. They fell off the rails that last year, but I was a Roseanne guy back in the day.
Well, they fell off that last year because they had Roseanne writing the last few shows.
She just had like a fucking attitude, like that was the thing. She went against the grain, not to go off on a tangent, but fuck it, that's what we do. I was a fan of Roseanne, and basically what made the show great was because it always, sometimes when you watch TV shows, you always feel like you're living in watching an alternate universe about how shit doesn't really exist in the real world. But that's what made the show relatable because they struggle. Like every episode, how we gonna pay this bill? How we gonna pay that bill? Then I think it was around like season 8, 7. Somebody can help me out on the actual timeline. They won the lottery. And then like the last year, it was like they was doing these episodes about these dream sequences, and all of a sudden like they own shops and she's a princess. People are dating princes and all of this kind of shit. It went against the grain of what the show was about. And that final episode to this day pisses me off. And that people talk about how the fucking Sopranos ended. Watch the series finale of fucking Roseanne.
Horrible.
Fucking hard. I mean, they basically took a metaphorical dump of shit in your mouth with that last episode, because they basically told you the last 8 or 9 years previous didn't matter.
Right. And by the way,
that's what pissed. That was like a big fuck you.
Yeah. And by the way, that prince was Jim Varney, who was all the Ernest characters.
Yeah. Jim Varney, yeah.
That's who the prince was in all those last scenes. But, dude, that last episode, Dan really died during his heart attack, and I just wrote him. What the fuck?
I don't know.
Weird.
Man.
It was weird.
And it pissed me off because it's like a couple years ago they had came out with like an Ultimate Collection. It was like $20, $25. Because that's one of those shows that, like I said, I'm a fan of.
Right.
And I haven't even watched every season, but it's like I can't watch that last year because once again it was like it was bad, but I was willing to stick by it. I was like I said, I got to see how this show ends because I've been watching it for almost from damn near the beginning, damn near.
Right, me too.
But I had to see how it ended. And that last episode when she's in the fucking basement, she's a writer and. None of this really happened, folks. Sorry, I know you've been watching for 8 years or 9 years. Thanks for being a fan, but by the way, fuck you. Fuck you for paying attention to storylines and continuity and all this shit. The guy that you thought was alive for the past 4 or 5 years, no, he really died when he had that heart attack.
Yeah, it was
that was just horse shit. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was not good. But I don't know. Which it's already fucking 1:15. What do you want to do? You want to get out of here?
Yeah, we kind of covered it off. I mean, it's nothing really else to say. We're just rambling, but hey, thanks to the chat room for hanging out with us.
Yeah, let me play a little song in the background here while I'm talking here. Let's play some Jackson Brown, Somebody's Baby.
Yeah,
I love that fucking song.
I guess while you're looking that up, what did you think of because B Megs is calling Jim Varney a legend. Were you a fan of like the Ernest movies and he was he was in Beverly Hillbillies. Okay. He was in another, you might not even know this movie. Movie called Fast Food.
Yeah.
Came out in 1989.
Okay, here's a story for you and B Megs. High school. I always wore a hat. And according to everybody, when I was in high school and wore a hat, I looked exactly like Ernest. So they actually used to make me do the whole ew thing that he used to do, you know, where he'd move his lips and shit. So I kind of had an attachment to Ernest.
Yeah,
you know?
I wasn't really a big fan of the Ernest movie, but I will say this: my favorite one, if I had to, you put a gun on my head, is Ernest Saves Christmas. That's my favorite one out of all of them.
Weebs just put mine. The Ernest Scared Stupid was one of my favorites, man. But Jim Varney was, he really, he got stuck in that character, unfortunately. But he died of cancer many years ago. But a lot of people said, people would walk that I didn't even know would say it. Didn't even know would be like, you look like Ernest. So,
like, did you put on that? Like, hey, you could do Comic Cons are real big. You could do that cosplay deal.
Actually, one of my good friends, Rigel. Me and him became good friends. We were at the keg one night. We're sitting there, and I'm getting a beer. He's getting a beer. I was nice enough to get my beer, and since he was next, I actually held the tap and poured his beer. That's what kind of guy I am. I'll pour your beer at the fucking tap at the keg. See that? I'm a good guy. What he does, he looks at me, and he goes, dude, you look just like fucking Ernest.
Well, and it's like one of those things that just stuck.
Well, I was drunk, and immediately I dropped the thing and got in his face a little bit. Next thing you know, 10 minutes later, we're at the keg, and I'm filling his beer again, filling my beer again. We're both back at the keg. Another guy walks up and says it, but he says it like a dick. So what do? I knock him out.
See, I see. Look. You play like a calm, cool, and collected Boxman on the show, but you're an undercover baddie.
No.
No.
Dude, I've had my ass kicked plenty of times. I've kicked a couple asses, but I've had my ass kicked my share of times. I have been CM Punk humbled before.
No,
yes.
I refuse. I don't think anybody can be humbled.
Dude, I had a fucking guy before grab me and throw me to the floor, and before I even knew what was happening, he was fucking beating the shit out of me.
So you're kind of like it was kind of like a Emilio Estevez and Breakfast Club type of situation. 2 hits, me hitting you hitting the floor.
Dude, this guy punched me so fucking hard. I don't even remember him jumping on top of me. I woke up and he was punching me. That's how bad. I've been beat before. This guy I sucker punched him. I ain't gonna fucking lie.
So clearly you were sober at the time?
No.
Let's just that part of the story.
No. I was fucking hammered when I punched this fucking guy. I was fucking hammered. He just pissed me off, and I didn't want to hear it again. He said it. I don't even know the guy's name. I never found out the guy's name. I just fucking lifted my elbow through a fucking right hook, hit him right on the butt, and knocked him out. And me and Rigel have been friends ever since. Rigel said he was a little scared of me after that night, and Rigel is...
Well, yeah, because I was about to say, the bright side is at least at least you didn't feel it if you were drunk.
Yeah.
That's one of the benefits of getting in fights while you're drunk. At least you don't feel anything.
Yeah. Rigel is, by the way, 6 foot tall and about 340 pounds. So if that guy is a little scared of me, I'm glad. He was a little bit that night, but it's just Ernest will always have a little place in my heart. Those movies just kind of bring me back to when everybody called me that. And, yeah, like Weeb said, know what I mean, Burn? Same, it was just, but everyone just kind of, people I didn't even know would come up to me and say that. But even Joe, who was in the chat Wednesday night for the, the wrestling podcast, he knows that name, and everyone called me that name for very long. But I wore a brown hat. The only difference was my hat said mental.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I I guess I looked exactly like the fucking guy. So I never saw it, and my parents never saw it, of course. I have good parents. But everyone else saw it, and I wore a hat a lot in high school. So that was it. But yeah, I agree with Meg. Meg, getting punched in the face fucking sucks. I tried to avoid fighting, or I always try to fight guys who are just a little shorter than me because I have long legs and know how to keep them back with my legs. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, but we're not advocating getting them in the random fights, but I look at it like this. I look at it like this. The best advice I can give anybody is if you're going to pick a fight, at least be smart and be judicious about who you pick a fight with. At least like size up the situation and go, this guy could kick my ass, could not, but I feel like I can hang with him. I feel like there's a 50-50 chance there.
I said it Wednesday. Look for cauliflower ears. Number one thing to look for. Take a peek for cauliflower ears. If you see cauliflower ears, apologize and walk the fuck away.
Just say it was my mistake. Sorry, pal. It'll never happen.
Look, I never apologized to that guy in the casino, but I did grab my friend and get the fuck out of there as quick as I possibly could in that situation. Look, this guy could have had a cauliflower ear for any other fucking reason, but a cauliflower ear is a sign that you may want to just either shut the fuck up or rethink what you're doing because you may get killed.
Definitely.
Yeah. So always be careful of that. But yeah, this wasn't meant to be a fighting story. This was just kind of a story to bring up why I've got a soft spot in my heart for Jim Varney and the Ernest character, the Ernest movies.
Fuck it. I did like the Beverly Hillbillies. So
oh, dude, that was actually a good movie. That wasn't. I mean,
and you want to talk a mind fuck? You want to talk about a mind fuck for me? I watched that movie. I remember when it came out in like '93, and I watched it so many times as a kid, and I was a fan of the Drew Carey Show. It took me a good like 5 years after I first saw the movie to realize, oh shit, that's fucking Oswald from Drew Carey. Like it's like one of those things. Like obviously, like he didn't do anything facially to change himself, but it's just like sometimes it takes you a while to put two and two together.
Yeah, he's been in a bunch of stuff actually. That guy.
Yeah, he was actually He was in an episode of Fresh Prince of all things.
Dude, he was a security guard in Jail and Silent Bob Strike Back that was trying to make Silent Bob blow Jay.
Yeah, that was. Now I didn't know it was him and that, but that
was him, dude.
And you believe in the other guy that was fucking Lewis.
And is he?
I love that dude.
Isn't he in
Ryan Stiles?
Ryan Stiles is honestly
Ryan Stiles. Thank you.
Honestly, one of my favorite guys. Whose Line Is It Anyway? I have watched that show.
I just like him in general. Everything he's in, he's gold.
Well, he's on Whose Line, and I've watched Whose Line since it was on Comedy Central back when they used to show the England days. Back when they started off in London. And Ryan Stiles was over there for a lot of those shows. But, he's on there now. And he is so funny. I don't know. He just looks like a down-to-earth kind of guy that's just a funny guy. Like, I would literally love to sit and just drink with Ryan Stiles. You know how funny that would probably be?
Oh yeah, it's hilarious. And the funny thing, and he's another guy. He just throws out one-liners, and it's not like he does like over-the-top comedy. He just kind of like he says the most outrageous things with a straight face, which makes him more funny. Like anybody that was a fan of the Drew Carey Show, man, towards the end it kind of lost some of its appeal, but for a long fucking time, that show was funny as fuck, and he was a big part of it.
I always liked the Drew Carey Show.
I was a fan. I mean, Tommy might be listening to this right now. And I know we fuck with him a lot, but yeah, we like old shit too, Tommy. Just we don't live in the fucking 90s like you. But yeah, Drew Carey was a good show. I mean, he looks fucking weird as shit now, but I still watch the like reruns of that show.
I do too.
And Kate, she was still a good looking woman. The chick that played Kate.
Oh, Kate, yeah, she was actually on. She was in
Christina Miller. She was on that Cougar Town.
Dude, NYPD Blue.
Oh, I gotta, cause I didn't get into that too much, but she was on that.
She was in the last season of NYPD Blue. Absolutely.
Oh, she was a regular.
No, she was in. I want to say 2 episodes of NYPD Blue, maybe 3.
So, like, was she a cop? Did she play a prostitute, number 2, or what was her role?
In the end of the season, I'm just going to give names. If you people don't understand what I'm talking about, go fucking watch it. At the last season, Connie, who was, I'll tell you who she was played by in a minute, and Andy, Dennis Franz, who you mentioned earlier. Connie's sister had a child, but she died during the delivery because she was beaten up by her husband. Husband gets arrested, blah, blah, blah. So she played the daughter of the grandparents who were trying to get custody of the child. And she played the daughter of those people, and, you know, they found out that she had been abused by the father. So it was a weird thing, but it was really, you know, a cool little part. I think she was in 2 episodes, I want to say. Yeah, 2 episodes is bright. I think that's right, yeah. But you know me, I'm an fucking NYPD Blue encyclopedia.
Oh, yeah. Oh, speaking of which, this is something I know we're trying to wrap, but it was something I wanted to bring up.
I ain't got to get up there or nothing. Don't worry about it.
Fucking Nicolas Cage. Give me a minute here. Fill some airtime for me, Box.
Okay. B-Megs, who looks weirder, Drew Carey or Al Roker? Drew Carey, hands down.
I don't know. Al Roker.
Al Roker looks like a turtle, but Drew Carey really turned himself into a fucking game show host.
Maybe it's the weight loss, man.
But he looks ridiculous to me. Al Roker may look weird. Drew Carey looks ridiculous. How's that? Does that work?
I'm sorry. Real, we can get back to that in a second. But this is actually got reported about a week or so ago. Nicolas Cage, he has a new movie coming out soon. I don't know if you read this. This is more of a Wednesday THT news bit, right. But I had to share this. This is too much. We got to review this at some point. The movie is a psychological thriller called Thriller, and it's starring Nicolas Cage with a current WWE superstar,
Michael Jackson. Oh,
what? Any guesses as to who this is?
Current Kane.
No.
All right. Give me a hint.
Color. Just think of a random color.
Whoa. Okay, one more hint that doesn't involve me thinking thoughts that could possibly get us in trouble.
No. All right, put it all right. Let's just say somebody on the current WWE roster whose gimmick revolves around color.
Cena.
No.
Well, fucking just tell me now.
Eva Marie.
What?
Eva Marie.
Okay, what is this movie? Explain this to me.
Let me see. I'm pulling up the...
Dude, I'm telling you, this girl, by the end of the year, champion. By the end of 2016, Eva Marie will be your fucking WWE champion. Your women's champion. What is that?
Hold on, Box. Let me get this.
Yeah, I hear staticky. Drew Carey has tats? Does he? Please don't tell me Drew Carey has tattoos on his weird skin. The Nicolas Cage version of Wicker Man now on Netflix. That was a good... I liked that movie Wicker Man with Nicolas Cage, actually. That was a good movie. Really was a good movie.
I'm sorry, Box. I had to get that fucking ad out of the way.
Fine.
But, yeah, apparently, because her suspension is actually supposed to end as of today, the 17th. But if she's doing this Nicolas Cage movie, it might be a while before we actually see her on TV. Let me see. Yeah, good or bad, Nicolas Cage is fucking awesome. even though he hasn't made like a good flick since probably, I don't know, maybe Snake Eyes, maybe Con Air. That was like the last legit movie I remember like thinking like, wow, that was a good fucking flick.
I'd have to go to his IMDb and double check that.
Even though I did like Weatherman, but it's like it seems like it's been forever since he had a fucking certifiable hit.
I've never heard of Weatherman.
Dude, you got to see that.
Really?
Yeah, it's actually a good movie.
Give me a minute, I'll check that one out. But let me see. Nicolas Cage, Snake Eyes was definitely good. I like Snake Eyes. I really did like Snake Eyes.
Face Off is phenomenal.
Face Off is, a lot of people give that movie shit, and I don't know why.
I mean, think about it. Like Nicolas Cage and John Travolta took the most outrageous aspect of both of their characters and basically just went there with it. Mm-hmm. They had no self-esteem issues. It was almost like, brother, just go all in on me. I can take it. And they had a fucking blast with it. You can just tell, man. That was a good fucking... If you don't like Face Off, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, it's an amazing movie. And truthfully, I am a huge Travolta fan. I'm sorry, dude. Travolta to me is like the cool... I don't care. I really don't give a shit about all the... Oh, he's gay. He gets fucking massages from God. I don't give a shit if he's fucking gay. I don't care if he's sucking the masseuse's dick. Doesn't matter to me. He is the coolest actor in Hollywood ever of all time for me. I don't
remember fucking Broken Arrow?
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely, I remember fucking Broken Arrow. I like that movie. Him, Christian Slater, Christian Slater got to work with what's her name? Amy Mathis, the girl from Pump Up the Volume. Oh. They worked together in 2 movies, Pump Up the Volume and Broken Arrow. Why do I know that? Because I am weird and I do this show, and this is why I do this fucking show.
This is what this show was made for, man. Like, cause it's like sometimes you got all of when you got a mountain of useless and random information. Cause I feel like I'm the same way sometimes. You need an outlet for it. And what better outlet than Friday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Mixler.com/THT podcast for the THT movie review.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. B-Megs, I liked Face Off, but I watch Biodome every 6 months.
I'm looking. I'm trying to get this some news up here about this movie. Because good or bad, this is a movie that we got to review at some point.
Which one?
Nicolas Cage and Eva Marie. I mean, could you imagine, like I don't know, just imagine, for example, if she's the love interest. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine? Look, this is a good question I posed to you into the chat room. Would Eva Marie make a good love interest? Just based on what we've seen of her so far.
I'd be interested in loving her.
No, seriously though, because you see her paying like the state, the mom. Because clearly, she was the mom. She would be the MILF.
How much do you want to bet she is 500 times better outside of WWE?
Like, you think it'd be a Dolph Ziggler situation?
Dude, I really think live audiences, I'm not going to say fuck with them, but maybe you gotta
in other words, when you're like in a control situation where you can do retakes, or if something doesn't work right, you can kind of reshoot it, or maybe ad lib a little. Well, you can ad lib live, but I guess WWE, they kind of script them people to death. So even if you're a natural at it, you still might come across as forced.
I don't know. I mean, I've never shot or been to a movie thing or anything, but I just think maybe you're more comfortable, more people to play off of. I don't know, man. I mean, Dolph Ziggler, we said it, and honestly, that's our, highest downloaded episode right now is that countdown episode. So we definitely need to do the other movie with fucking Lana and whoever, I forgot. Edge, exactly. So we definitely got to do that movie whenever. Actually, Tuesday it comes out, so maybe the week after we'll do that.
Yeah, let me see here. Yeah, Eva Marie. Let me see here.
Yeah, I mean, she Yeah.
I mean, she can't be any worse.
I can't see her being any worse. And let's face it, dude, if she was that bad, they would have pulled her.
Yeah, let me see here. I'm reading some factoids on it. Let me see. According to Deadline, the Total Divas star had been cast in a new movie, Inconceivable, starring Oscar winners. So not just Nicolas Cage, but Faye fucking Dunaway.
Whoa.
Faye, I mean, a lot of people may not know that name, but Faye Dunaway is a big deal in Hollywood.
Yeah.
She really, old. She's like old school. She's before, honestly, all jokes aside, she's before my time and little bit before your time too, Box.
Mm-hmm.
She's been around a long ass fucking time.
Yeah.
Let me see. No word on what role Eva Marie is playing, but here's the provided synopsis. When Katie, Nikki Whelan, moves to town with her young daughter in order to start a new life after enduring abuse in her past, she quickly befriends another mother, Angela, and her husband, Brian. That's the Nicolas Cage part. Angela notices odd behavior from Katie and begins to question whether Katie's intentions are as innocent as she makes them out to be, or if something dark is lurking beneath the surface.
So Eva Marie might be the other woman.
Let me see here. The other bit of good news, bad news, depending on your perspective, is filming starts in October. Let me see here. Then I wouldn't imagine. Let me see here. Oh, sorry. I'm just trying to get some of this adware out of the way, folks.
That's probably 2 to 3 weeks of filming, though. So she'll be gone for a little bit. Not long.
Let me see. Now, I wouldn't imagine Eva has much more than a bit part, but even if she needs to be away for a couple of weeks, that likely means her return from suspension will lead to more trolling, introductions, and remote segments of her acting haughty from Hollywood, as opposed to, having to watch her try to wrestle. Yeah. That's the short end of it, but whoever wrote this has hit the nail on the fucking head. Even if she's only in this movie for 10 seconds, the fact that she's in this movie with fucking Nicolas Cage and Faye Dunaway, you know WWE is going to milk that for all it's worth. And if you think her trolling interests are bad now, they're going to amp it up.
Oh yeah.
They're going to have her doing segments from the set. They might even try to fucking have Nicolas Cage do a fucking cameo. I mean, he's not doing much else now.
He will.
I'm fucking with him.
He will. Why do I feel like he'd be a wrestling fan?
You could, if they say, hey, Nick, you think you could make an appearance on SmackDown?
Yeah.
You think he would do it, even if it's like a quick little pre-tape deal?
I would see it. But dude, she definitely. I don't know. We just posting.
I don't know. I don't know. Call me crazy, but if they get a deal, if they could do a deal with Nicolas Cage on SmackDown, since they then gave Kurt Hawkins the Chuck Norris gimmick, I don't know. For some reason, I think a segment with them would be fucking gold.
I'm sure it'll happen. It'll happen. But yeah, Eva Marie, I don't know. She is what she is, and I'm telling you, she is in my opinion. And I know we're going on wrestling here, and I'm sorry. Real quick, I'm going to do this. Eva Marie is exactly what Vince McMahon sees as a diva.
Yeah, she's basically, she has a unique look. And let's be honest, she's hot as fuck. Say what you want about wrestling ability, in-ring repertoire, fuck that. That doesn't matter in the big scheme of things. If a dude sees her on the street, your dick is gonna go, paya. I gotta get that.
Swing.
Let's be honest. Look, if a dude sees Eva Marie on the street, you really think the first thing that's gonna pop into his is, gee, she's a shitty wrestler. I can't stand. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Let's be real here. But I'm just talking as a dude. I'm not talking as a wrestling fan.
I get it.
As a guy that occasionally does a show. No, I'm talking as a man, as a heterosexual male. I see Eva Marie on this. If I get the chance to talk up Eva Marie, the last thing on my fucking mind is a fucking WWE angle.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm not going to say in defense of her, but this is what happens when you hire someone who knows nothing about wrestling except, like B-Make's put in the chat room, she's mentioned before her, favorites are, Ultimate Warrior and Razor Ramon. Actually, Weeb said that. Sorry. But, her favorites growing up were Ultimate Warrior and Razor Ramon, but she really has no wrestling experience. You got your Becky Lynch's.
I mean, based off of those answers, look, I'm not gonna. You like who you like. I mean, hell, I was a Warrior fan coming up, so I'm not gonna.
I was a Warrior and a fucking Razor fan. I was probably.
Yeah, I like both guys, but I'm saying like if best case scenario, I think she was a person that watched it here and there. She was a casual fan. She might have grew up with brothers that watched it, and she watched it. She was in and out. Because I can't see her being like a lifelong fan. She probably watched it when she was a kid. She grew titties and. All of a sudden, wrestling didn't matter no more.
Yeah.
She got, she developed a social life.
Well, she started doing sexy dancing. I mean, look up some of her videos on YouTube, and it's her sexy dancing on fucking, like, Telemundo and shit. Basically in a thong giving a lap dance. Oh.
I guess real quick, B-Mag, since he's been such a good contributor in the chat tonight, he offered a suggestion just because he wanted our opinion on it. Box, what do you think of What's Eating Gilbert Grape? You remember that flick?
Never watched the movie before.
I watched it in bits and pieces. I don't know. I guess from what I saw of it, I guess it depends on if you're a Juliette Lewis. If you're like a diehard Juliette Lewis fan, I'm like, you might. I mean, she was good in it. From what, like I said, I never actually took the time to sit down and watch it. I would actually have to sit down and watch the whole movie, but I think Juliette Lewis is an underrated actress, so if you like her, I think you would like the movie.
Oh, I do like Juliette Lewis. I do.
I fucking love her. I love her. I mean, she has like an awkward. She has like an awkward hotness to her. That's how I always look at her.
She does. I mean, watch From Dusk Till Dawn. There is something sexy about her in that movie.
I mean, yeah, like she's not like I said. I don't judge looks. Like you like who you like. I mean, when you look at her, it's like it's nothing obvious about her that makes her hot, but it's something about it that just you can just tell. Like behind those eyes, boy. Like once that door closed,
Natural Born Killers.
She becomes like a wild woman.
Yeah, Natural Born Killers. She even plays a freak, and she is. But yeah, that's it, man. That's it, man. I think we should. Damn. We should get the fuck out of here.
Def.
All right. Well, that's it then. Let me get some background music going here. Hold on here. 1 second now. There we go. Little Jackson Brown there going to the background. All right. As usual, you guys know where you can check us out right here on Mixer.com/THT podcast. And you can also look us up on iTunes. Just type in THT Movie Review. Facebook, same thing. Just go right to Facebook.com/THT Movie Review. YouTube, same thing. THT Movie Review. And of course, Twitter, same motherfucking thing. Don't ever forget to check us out. Our other show, wrestling show on Wednesday nights. Check us out right here on Mixer.com/THT podcast. And Anthony.
That's right.
I had a fucking blast tonight, dude. I love that. Love this movie. Next Friday, we decided we are doing Judgment Night. Join us next Friday at 11 Eastern, 10 Central. What?
Yeah.
There you go. So
this song is gonna be stuck in my head, motherfucker. I love this shit.
I love this song, man. This is a great song. I'll turn it up a little bit before we get out of here. Actually, I know what I can do. Give me 1 second.
Real quick, I have a suggestion that we should go out to because it's a movie that I want to review in a couple weeks.
What?
It goes along with the theme. We talking about Porky's a little bit earlier. Remember a song from, I think it came out in 85, 86 called High School Nights?
Yeah.
I love that fucking song.
There you go. Yeah, I don't have it.
Got it. We talked about it. So we'll play it on that show, but I say fuck it. Let's go out on that one since we did talk about a fucking high school movie tonight.
Well, I don't have it, but we got this one.
Well, fucking, by the time we get to the Porky's episode, we'll have it on deck. There
you go. That's what we'll do. But, yeah, There you go. So thanks everybody that's gonna download. Obviously, thanks everybody for fucking joining us in the chat.
Tell a friend.
There you
Tell
go.
a friend.
Tell a friend. Have that friend tell a friend. Have that friend tell a friend. And just keep the fucking game going on. All right, everybody. We will see y'all next Friday, 11 o'clock Eastern. Later.